All right, the time is 2:05. I will now call to order. The President of the Board of Trustees will call the Paris Union High School District Board meeting to order at 2:05. All right, so now we go to, I will call the Paris Union High School District Board meeting to order at 2:05. I'm going to ask for a roll call to determine a quorum. Trustee Nelson? Trustee Vallejo?
Here.
Trustee Stafford?
Here.
Trustee Campos? And myself here. We have established a quorum. Item 3.1, invitation to address the Board of Trustees, closed session or items only.
No cards today.
Thank you, sir. Item 4.1, adjourn to closed session. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Right, fast enough. All right, please vote. Or any discussion? No, please vote. All right, item 4.1 is a 3-2 vote? 3-0 vote, and 2 absent. And we will be going to closed session at 2:06. All right, item 5.1, reconvene in public session, Pledge of Allegiance, and we are reconvening at 5:28 PM.
Please remain standing. I'd like to have a moment of silence for those who are ailing or suffering from any debilitating illness or mental condition, and that our kids are healthy and strong and ready to complete the school year. Okay, thank you.
Item 7.1, recess the board president will recess the meeting to conduct the regular board meeting of the California Military Institute Charter School. And we are recessing at 5:29 PM, right? Please log in and join the meeting. Oops. One point one? There we go. Item 2.1, call to order. At this time, I'm going to ask for a roll call to determine a quorum. Oh, wait, did I miss something? I apologize. I will call to order at exactly 5:30 PM. At this time, I'm going to ask for a roll call to determine quorum. Trustee Nelson?
Here.
Trustee Vallejo?
Here.
Trustee Stafford?
Here.
Trustee Campos?
Here.
And myself here. We have established a quorum. Item 3.1, invitation to address the Board of Trustees on closed session items only.
No cards for the closed session.
Thank you, sir. Item 4.1, to adjourn to closed session. Flip this page. Do I have a motion to go to closed session if necessary?
So moved.
Do we need to go to closed session?
Oh, we're not going to.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
we do? Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Any discussion? None? Please vote. Four point one, we will be adjourning to closed session. It is 5-0 vote. At At this time, the regular board meeting of the Cali Military Institute will reconvene at 5:37 PM. Item 6.1, revision, adoption, ordering of agenda, April 17th, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Who was the second?
Tony.
Second.
Got you. Any discussion? See none, please vote. Item 6.1 passes 5-0. Item 7.1, report out of closed session.
No report out of closed session this evening.
Thank you. Item 7.2, student representatives to the Board of Trustees.
I believe that's me. From CMI, Student Representative Cadet Captain Ariana Breeze Smith.
Good morning, I'm Cadet Major Ariana Abreeze, and I'll be going over the events and activities for April. First is the military ball, which just took place at the end of March on March 23rd. Our special guests included Colonel Michael J. Smith, Captain David Barnes, who was our guest speaker, and Mr. Grant Bennett. At this event, we had the honor of watching previously ranked Captain Sibley get promoted to the rank of Major at the hands of Colonel Michael J. Smith. Here's some more pictures from our military ball. On the left is the MIA POW team. In the middle and right picture are the pictures of our CMI color guard. Next is drill competition, which took place on April 6th at the Joint Forces Training Base in Los Alamitos. At this state competition, we competed in 13 different categories, which included various drill downs consisting of the drill instructor drill down, the armed drill down, and the unarmed drill down. As a result of competing in all these categories, CMI received 8 awards. Here are some more pictures from the drill competition. Next is sports. So the boys varsity volleyball team had games on April 8th and April 11th. The boys varsity baseball team had a game on April 9th, and the girls varsity softball team had games on April 1st and April 9th. And as a result of their game against Cornerstone Christian, our boys varsity volleyball team brought home a win on April 8th. And finally is the marksmanship competition, which just took place on April 13th at Camp San Luis Obispo. This is another state event that we participated in, and as a result, our team received second place for the All Sullivan Marksmanship Award. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.3, CSEA President Rosa Galvan.
She couldn't make it this evening.
We forgive her. Item 7.4, CMITA President Angel Love Barons.
Doesn't look like Ms. Barron's here either.
Okey dokey. Item 7.5, Principals Update.
Good evening, President Garcia, esteemed board members, Superintendent Bennett, and Cabinet. It's a pleasure to be with you again tonight. The presentation this evening will focus on our mid-year LCAP review. I think it's important to keep you informed of all the awesome things that are happening and how we are doing as a school. So, okay. All right, so we'll circle back, but it is up to you. I can circle back. Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. And one of the reports that Captain Abreeze forgot to mention in her presentation this evening, that something that I think the district should also be very proud of, is the fact that one of our cadets during this was a state competition in Los Alamitos. So Cadet Corps sends all the cadets from the entire state to this particular event. And one of our very own was the top cadet for the entire state of California. And I'm going to try and recognize him at the future event. But I thought you should know that. It's pretty... Matthew Rodriguez, Yeah, so we'll definitely try and recognize him next time the opportunity presents itself. But that's our award for the entire state of California, for the whole California Cadet Corps. Okay, so let's keep on moving. So our 4 LCAP goals mimic the goals for the Paris Union High School District. We are very much concerned about ensuring our students are proficient in English language arts and math. We want to make sure all of our students are graduating from high school. We want to make sure they're prepared and that they do so in a safe environment. And we make sure that we do that by partnering with our parents and our community. And as you know, that partnership is very strong at CMI, and we value that partnership very much. These are the funds, total LCFF funds that are provided to CMI in addition to the concentration funds as well. With respect to Goal 1 specifically and the metrics, I want to point out that some of the data is available, some of the data is in progress as we have not concluded the school year, and I know you understand that. So some of that data will be available in the very near future. As it's available to me, I'll be sure to share it with you right away. But the data I do have here this evening, you can look at the columns with respect to the desired outcomes. And I've shared some of this data with you. We're very passionate about ensuring our English language learners are being proficient. And I'm very, very proud to point that our reclassification rate is 44.9%. Why is that important? Because if you look at many other schools and many other districts, some of the highest reclassification rates, probably in the whole county, border around 20%, 25%, maybe 30%. It's extremely rare to see 44.9% reclassification rate. And I give all the credit to the team, to the teachers, our ELL coaches, who were working very, very hard to make this happen. So it's something to be proud of district-wide. 100% of our staff are appropriately assigned based on their credentials with respect to what they're teaching as well. Specifically, with respect to English and math, we have seen some growth with English. Let me show you a visual of that. We have seen a little bit of increase in our English, and I'm very happy to see that. That's definitely something we want to celebrate. But with respect to math, there continues to be, sorry, I think this was the LP rate, sorry. This is the ELA rate. So we've seen an increase about 6.8 points, which is moving in a positive direction. With respect to math, we recognize that there's a lot of work yet to be done. Math is definitely one of those things that requires a lot of work, a lot of resources, a lot of focus and dedication. We have a plan in place to work on this. Our teams are meeting on a regular basis to address these issues. We have interventions that we have put in place to ameliorate the challenges that our students are facing. And I am very confident that we're going to see some good results in the very near future. With respect to having access to standards-aligned materials, we are at 100%. And these are the estimates with respect to spending on specific actions with respect to Goal 1. So a lot of our funding goes to training and supporting literacy, implementing MTSS, integration of technology to support our school and our students. Moving on to LCAP goal number 2, as you are very well aware, our graduation rate continues to hover around 100%. We're confident that we'll be able to achieve that this year as well. Our A through G rate is also very robust. We're trying to maintain it above 95%. Back in 2021, it was at 98%, and so we're confident that we will do very well this year as well. AP score results, of course, they're pending as those assessments haven't been issued out yet. As you know, CMI received an award for having the highest FAFSA completion 2 years in a row, thanks to the amazing work of our counselors. We continue to pledge to maintain that. We're currently sitting at about 75% completion and climbing every day. Our current AVID participation stands at 214 students. That may not seem a lot, but when you consider the fact that we are a smaller school, 214 is quite a big number, actually. When I worked at Patriot High School, we were around 300 AVID students, and that was a school of almost 3,000. So we're definitely committed to AVID because it works. The data shows that it works. Our College Career Indicator, or CCI indicator, we are definitely moving in the right direction, outpacing our desired outcomes with respect to how many students are prepared, and we're continuing to work even harder to prepare them because we want them to be ready. College, career, or military, whatever they choose, the bottom line is we want them to have options, and that's really what we're working towards. Students should have options, and these are the expenditures with respect to Goal 2 on specific actions, how we allocate the funds. So we provide a lot of training, opportunities for support, and then for intervention and remediation where needed. With respect to Goal 3, our suspension rate is considerably below the state average. State average, I believe, is around 3.4%, something like that. You know, I often hear, well, CMI has the best kids, but we take kids from everywhere. We take students from everywhere, and we work with them. And it's not easy work, but we do a good job. And again, I give credit to my staff for making that happen. The suspension rates are there as they stand right now, and they are below the state average. And so I'm glad to see that. That's just additional data that's still in progress. Our attendance, I've often talked about attendance. Attendance is a measure of engagement, how engaged students are, how much they want to come to school, participate in school activities. I'm proud to say that CMI maintains the highest attendance so far this year, and I'm very, very glad to see that. We're a smaller school. It affects our funding, so it's important to us to have all kids in the classroom and learning. So, moving on to the, okay, this is the actions and where the money is going with specific targets. A lot of funding goes to educate our parents and provide interventions to our students and be proactive with respect to how should you behave, right? How should you conduct yourself, and giving them help before, teaching them how to make good decisions, right, before something happens. So a lot of our funding goes to be proactive. Last goal, goal number 4, very important to us. I want to point your attention to parent engagement. Our goal was to increase it by 6% with respect to whatever the goal was back. It was 2,600 parent participations. We far exceeded that. This year we're already standing at 4,500 various parent events, reaching out to parents, ensuring that they're fully aware of what's going on at school, educating them, book clubs, and all kinds of other things that our parents enjoy doing with us. These particular metrics here are surveys that are currently being administered, so we don't have all the data at the moment. As soon as I do, I'll be happy to share that with you. But I cannot overemphasize how important our parents are in making sure that our school is successful. With respect to social media, those metrics are up as well this year. And I made a personal commitment, having parents who are immigrants, not knowing how to access different resources at school. I took it as a personal challenge to make sure all of our parents are educated about how to use all the resources. 100% of our parents have access and know how to access Parent Portal. And if they don't, we provide assistance in Spanish and spend time with them so they know, hey, you should know how to access all those resources. And these are just the funds for specific actions. And that's the conclusion of my presentation. Thank you so much.
Item 8.1, invitation to address the Board of Trustees on non-agendized items.
No takers.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Item 9.1, consent calendar, approval of consent calendar items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Seeing none, please vote. Item 9.1 is a 5-0 vote. Item 11.1, discipline, March 2024 monthly suspension report. Item 12.1, personnel, classified personnel action items. Is there a motion? Yeah, I had to skip 10. He did his presentation. That's why. Is there a motion, 12.1?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second?
That was me.
Thank you. Any discussion? See none, please vote. Item 12.1 passes 5-0. Item 12.2, personnel, approval of salary increase for charter management, unrepresented classified employees, and avid tutors. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I do right here. I just want, I do have some reservations here, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I actually have a couple. So what I wanna know is, why is this grouped for management and employees and avid tutors? You know, I would assume to give a salary increase for avid tutors, it makes sense because they make very little. You know, they're part-timers, right? But when it comes to a salary increase for management classified, and this also goes for the regular board meeting as well, but I only have some reservations only because is that I feel like giving raises instead of implementing the wellness centers that we don't have or we don't fully have, and also the DEI department, that's something that I find very important to fulfill first because I believe in putting the students first. And I really want to know, or I want everyone to ask themselves, where do you draw the line between getting raises and student services when we are in a very bad place fiscally? That's what I really want to understand because, don't get me wrong, I appreciate all of management so much, and if I can give you more money, I would. I really would. And I know how hard you all work, and it's a very tough job. I probably can't do any of the jobs that you management have, but I just don't feel comfortable because my values align with students. My first fight would just be, well, I want to implement the student services that we lost. That's my main goal, and that's what I believe everyone should be, because if we're not taking care of the students, what do we have? What do we have? And I know by the time that I finish, I know there's going to be two sides, you know, people who support and people who don't. And that's okay because you are all entitled to your own opinion. But I just want you to know that I'm actually coming from a side of fairness and a side for putting the students first. And then I hope you all can agree with me. If not, I'm more than happy to talk about it after. But I just want to just also see what my other board members think, but I just believe this is not the right time. More than happy to give you a raise when fiscally we become better. I just think right now is not the best time. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I'd just like to point out these are the same raises that have already been given out to the rest of the district, the teachers in the Paris Union High School District. You do realize we're on CMI's agenda and not, this is a charter school, different funding, different obvious results. So I think you're a little misguided on not wanting to give this particular group the increase that everyone else has already gotten. This is only equity and fair. So I just think that your vision on this one, maybe you're looking at the wrong, thinking you're on the wrong agenda or something. So you might want to look at that.
The only thing I'll add is I know that obviously increasing the salary to the tutors, avid tutors they're priceless. I mean, if there's one expense that definitely is worthy of it, it's them because they directly work with students within the avid program. And I think the avid program within CMI is extremely valuable. And obviously having them and being able to offer them a wage that they're going to be able to serve our student community is, I think, well-deserved.
Any more discussion?
I do also believe that, I know these are both different, this is a charter school, so they are both different type of budgets. But I do believe it also has to do with optics, that if, you know, we should be fair to both. So if we don't, let's say if we don't give the increase here, then we shouldn't give the increase for the other one as well. So I just believe that after what happened, I believed we had an action plan to be fiscally solvent, and even other items on the other agenda doesn't seem like we are following the action plan to become fiscally solvent.
Any other discussion? All right, see none, please vote. Item 12.2 passes 4-1. Item 13.1, curriculum. Revised biomedical courses, principles in biomedical science, intro to human anatomy, honors human body systems, honors medical interventions, and honors biomedical innovations. 13.2. 13.2, curriculum, revised advanced placement English courses, AP English language and composition, and AP English literature and composition. 13.3, revised English language development courses, intensive, MS English intensive, and academic language development. 13.4, curriculum, revised high school science courses, Science 9, biology, chemistry, physics, and advanced placement AP biology. 13.5, revised special education course, study skills. 13.6, revised visual and performing arts course, general music. 13.7, revised world language courses, Spanish for Spanish speakers 1 and Spanish for Spanish speakers 2. 13.8, new math course, algebra 2. 13.9, science textbook adoption. Item 14.1, other items by the superintendent.
I just want to share, it was in the presentation, but the CMI Military Ball was an awesome event. The kids dressed up in their uniforms looking sharp, and the color guard did a great job. And it's very powerful watching them, the POW MIAs, where they have the table and they put the hats down from all the different services. But it was a really great event. I was glad I got to join them there. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Item 15.1, other items by the Board of Trustees. Trustee Nelson. Trustee Vallejo. Trustee Stafford. Trustee Campos. And myself, none at this time. Item 16.1, adjournment of the regular meeting of the California Military Institute for April 17, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? See none, please vote. Item 16.1 passes 5-0. The meeting will be adjourned at 6:03 PM. Please join the meeting. Try it again. There we go. Is everybody on? The regular board meeting of Paris Union High School District is reconvening at 6:03 PM, 6:04 PM, excuse me. Item 8.1, revision adoption, ordering of agenda, April 17, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? See none, please vote. Item 8.1 passes 5-0. Item 9.1, report out of closed session.
There are a couple items to report out of closed session. In closed session, the board unanimously approved the agreement resolving OAH case number 202-312-0665, which is now final. Second item, in closed session, the board the board voted 4-1 to approve the decision in full of OAH 202-403-0856 and directs the administration to issue final layoff notice to Certificate Administrator 173992 pursuant to Education Code 44955. That ends the closed session report.
9.2, district update by the superintendent.
Let me get to that real quick. I'm going to start out with, where is Anna out there somewhere? Where's Anna? Anna Bosnack?
Oh, out there.
Not this Anna. Anna is part of the wrestling team over at Liberty High School. She, this is the second year in a row she came in third place in state, but she went to nationals in Virginia and won national championship in wrestling. She was in a 32-person bracket, won all 5 matches. She had pins in 30 seconds, 42 seconds, 1 minute 22 seconds, and 4 minutes 46 seconds. And the one girl didn't want to wrestle, so she said she had a concussion. But we want to thank you for what you've done to show Liberty throughout the country, and appreciate all the hard work and dedication. The head coach at Liberty is John Phillips, and her dad, Mike, is also one of the coaches over at Liberty. So congratulations and thanks for.
Thank you so much.
You're gonna,
Thank you.
Get the best shot you can get from wherever. Thanks.
taking a picture. There's more.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
I've never shaken the hand of a champion. Right? Thank you so much. Oh, absolutely.
Congratulations. Every penny. Proud dad. Okay.
Congratulations again. Don't let no one mess with you.
Next, we have some RAVE Awards this evening. I'm going to ask Kirk to come up and distribute the RAVE Awards. Also, she's also named an All-American because of doing that so that's amazing.
So good evening. This evening I have the pleasure of recognizing raving about some of the amazing employees we have at Heritage High School. So the first group that we're going to bring up is our incredible campus supervisors. And I have Lindsay Chavez, who's the principal at Heritage, here with me. She's going to help with distributing the awards. And Lindsay has nominated the entire campus supervisor team over at Heritage High School. Give them a round of applause as they come up. So we have, so all of them, just to name them all out, I know many of them can't be here this evening, but those awesome ones are. So we have Sarah Arenas, Valerie Cisneros, Annette Garcia, Octavio Garcia, Alvin Hill, Jose Montoyo, Nicolo Owens, Moises Vasquez, Al Winters, and Brenda Lopez. So the reason that Ms. Chavez recognized them is she says that the campus supervisor team at Heritage High School is the best in the entire district.
That's right.
Their proactive approach to safety and their effort in building positive relationships with students contribute significantly to creating a secure and welcoming campus environment at Heritage High School. So give them another round of applause. And wait right here, because we have a couple other amazing employees at Heritage that we're going to recognize too. Next, I'd like to welcome up Bree Conrad. And the reason we're recognizing Ms. Conrad is that she is essential for ensuring our students have access to valuable opportunities post-graduation. She goes above and beyond to ensure all students are aware of these opportunities. And due to her efforts, Heritage High School is consistently one of the top schools in the state for FAFSA completion. And not that we're competitive or anything like that, but Heritage High School has the highest rate so far this year for our district as well. Yeah, which is exciting. Congratulations to Ms. Conrad for her outstanding work empowering Connard, excuse me. That's okay. Congratulations to Ms. Connard for her outstanding work in empowering students and helping them achieve their educational goals. Congratulations. And last but not least, we have Robin Perry, but I don't think she's here with us.
She's coaching swim right now.
She's coaching swim right now, and she was our WASC lead this year over at Heritage High School. So just to let you know, she's done some amazing things with WASC and did an incredible job. And so she'll also be receiving a RAVE Award and getting recognized at her school site. So at this time, if we could, we have all of you RAVE Award recipients just come right in front of the dais here, along with Ms. Chavez and Mr. Hannon, because we have Campos too.
These won't be any good when you get it now. These are just telling you some things. I have a couple other things I was going to share. Last Friday, our district was able to participate in what's called the BEST Awards. It's for bilingual education. They recognized students. We had one of our students from, I think it was Heritage, got to read their essay. And it was really good, and they recognized parents, teachers, administrators. So it was a great event out there, and having our showing out there was nice. On March 25th, the Western Riverside County Association of School Managers had their awards and scholarship night. Diane Martin was recognized as the Ed Service Administrator of the Year for Raxon. And two of our administrators had their child earn scholarships there, so we had two of the scholarships given out to two of our employees, kids. On 3/23, we had our Puma Golf Tournament. We had 76 golfers, raised about $10,000, which we put towards scholarships for students graduating from our high schools. And coming up next week, April 23rd, the RCOE Student Academic Awards Night at Riverside Convention Center. We have 3 of our students from each of our comprehensive high schools that'll be there being honored for their academic work. Tony's been there with me before. May 1st is our Employee Recognition Night at Canyon Lake Lodge. So we'll be all the people that are doing great things on campus, we'll be able to recognize them. And if the board's welcome to come, if you want to come, just make sure you let Anna know, because if you're not on the list, you don't get in the gate. What's the theme this year? 70s. I threw away all those clothes, or my wife threw away all those clothes on me. And last thing I just want to share, we have ACSA, which is the Association of California School Administrators. And we have a charter, which is RACSM, which Diane won in. We have Region 19, which is Riverside County, and there's State ACSA. I just want to share that Kirk was selected as the Personnel Administrator of the Year for State ACSA this year. And that concludes my report.
Yeah, I got you.
He was supposed to do both, but, Grant.
Yeah.
Item 9.3, student representatives to the Board of Trustees. Oh, I thought they were coming up. I thought they were. Yeah. Trustee Campos, you're the first one.
No, this is student reps.
Oh, wait. I apologize. Let me say that one more time. 9.3, student representatives to the Board of Trustees. Campos. Oh, Mr. Campos.
All right, I would like to introduce Liberty High School student representatives Moses Madrigal and Morgan Tam.
Mr. Bennett and the cabinet. I'm Noah Nuno.
I'm Moses Madrigal, and this is our April recap.
Liberty continues with the Student of the Month program, this month's nominee being Sam Nagra. We hosted our third and final pep rally of the school year with a Tangled-themed pep rally. We're insanely happy with the outcome, especially with our advancement in decor, lighting, and music setup. We welcomed future Bison to tour our campus and get a glimpse into their future at Liberty during our open house event. All clubs, sports, and academic departments greeted our incoming freshmen with important dates and other information. We finished our ASB elections and declared our new class and ASB presidents. Jackson Tam, Carolyn LaRochelle, and Colton Pike won sophomore class presidents. Jaden Morash, Julian Mojica, and Ave Villalobos won junior class presidents. Morgan Young was announced senior class president, and Alina Avala, Jeremy Malabo, and Phil Chu won ASB presidents. A new Bison tradition was hosted by the class of 2026. Bison Feud, our spin on the popular game show, hosted students and staff to compete in trivia. We'd also like to announce that student Anna Bozanic won national title for women's wrestling. Our junior class collaborated with local dress and suit shops to bring Liberty students discounts on their prom attire. A fashion show featuring amazing looks was hosted at lunch to advertise. Some of our upcoming events are our Prom Spirit Week, Prom, Pathway Night, Grad Night, and Castle.
And that's it for our April recap.
Have a great day.
Go Bison!
From Paloma Valley High School, I'd like to introduce student representatives Addison Garcia and Cassandra Madrigal.
Hello, Paris Union School Board and Superintendent Mr. Bennett. Once again, I'm Cassie Madrigal, one of 2 of this year's ASB secretaries.
And I'm Addison Garcia, one of this year's ASB representatives.
Congratulations to Kaylin Hoxton for earning Student of the Month for March.
For the past month, our seniors have been participating in our senior takeout, a huge game of tag that takes place within the 5-minute passing periods of class. We started with over 250 students and are now down to our top 25.
Team Axolotl is currently dominating the engineering field and placed first at the San Diego Sea Perch competition.
May 11th, our ASB will be hosting our ASB workshop where students from all over PUHSC will be able to come in and hone their ASB skills.
March 28th, we aided the city of Menifee to once again welcome back our VFW veterans with our ASL, ASB, band, and JRC all present.
Once again, our students attended the new workshop where they were able to enhance their leadership skills with their fellow leaders on campus, forming new connections.
Congratulations to our Wildcat Brigade for rating the highest score at the recent competition. They rated Unanimous Superior.
Some of our upcoming events include Food Truck Frenzy, JRTC Awards Night, Prom, Powder Puff Grad Night, and Senior Awards.
That's all for this month. We'll see you next month.
Bye!
All right, from Paris High School, student representatives Jesus Alvarado and Janelli Cortez.
Good evening, School Board and Cabinet. I'm Jesus.
And I'm Janelli, and these are your announcements for the months of March and April.
Starting off, we're going to be talking about our spring musical on March 21st.
This musical lasted for 3 nights, so March 21st through March 23rd, and they did The Addams Family. It was a really great play. We had a lot of turnout. A lot of people showed up.
I went to go see the play, and I thought it was amazing. It was definitely one of the best plays that we had at our school and in our new theater.
We went along with our junior class to finalize their prom for the year of 2025.
On April 12th, we had our prom fashion show, and that whole week we spent setting up and preparing for our prom fashion show on Friday. To me, it was a great turnout, and we had an amazing, rally.
Yeah, it was really great. We announced our prom theme, which is Twilight, and then we used a bunch of decorations that just looked really beautiful and matched the vibe for the theme. So at this fashion show, we basically demonstrated what to and what not to wear for prom.
We also had 2 promposals, and then we had we had a really good turnout for the teachers. They also showed some what not to wear and what to wear to prom.
This week, Link Crew will be hosting its first round of presentations to our freshman class.
On Saturday, we had our e-waste, and we had a great turnout, and we made a lot of money for our fundraising in the future.
We would also like to congratulate Brisa Korea for winning a CABE scholarship. Congratulations. Also, congratulations Michael Aguilar for winning Student of the Month for April. Mr. Simons and Mrs. Cooper both held an eclipse viewing in the STEM buildings where 100 students and about a dozen staff members came to watch.
Thank you for watching, and that's all for our announcements.
Trustee Vallejo?
Let me introduce Paris Lake High School student reps Jocelyn Alvarez Limas, Philip Carraza Vega, Felix Maderno, and Jasmine Rodriguez.
My name is Jasmine. My name is Jocelyn.
My name is Felix.
My name is Philip.
First thing we're gonna get into is the eclipse. What did y'all think about it? I think it was pretty cool. I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I heard good things about it though.
It was pretty cool. The supervisor let me use some glasses to see it, and it looked pretty cool.
That's cool. Okay. Now we're gonna get into our past events. How did y'all feel about the Easter egg hunt? I think it was funny, watching people run around.
Yeah, people were running around. I saw a few people fall looking for the eggs.
It was pretty cool, setting up the eggs and everything. I didn't get to participate because I was setting them up.
Did you guys get any prizes from the eggs?
I got a squishmallow, even though I was the one that that set up the eggs and gave out the prizes. I also won a squishmallow. Okay, how did y'all feel about the soccer game, the staff versus students?
I got to play in it. It was we won 5-2. It was kind of heated though, because Miss Ramos was running around like a crazy person.
I know. I seen her. She was playing. I was like, okay. I was just keeping score.
It was cool to see the teachers and the students playing against each other.
Okay. And how do y'all feel about our open house we have tonight?
I think it's pretty cool. There's gonna be prizes.
Yeah, there's gonna be TVs,
Disneyland tickets.
Yeah.
Actually, kind of excited for that though. Like
I'm
the free
so
food
excited.
and everything. The
Yeah, and
taco
the free
truck.
food. I'm really excited. Okay, and now we're gonna get into our upcoming events. How are y'all feeling? How y'all feeling about our field trip we have coming up to the college fair?
I think it's pretty cool. I've never been to a stadium.
I know. I'm
I
excited
think
to watch a
the
baseball
baseball
game.
game is gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah,
It's gonna be pretty cool going to a stadium.
I'm excited. And what about our other field trip we have coming up to the Cheese Museum?
I think it's cool. I like museums.
I think it's gonna be pretty cool to see all the stuff in the museum and shit.
I think it's gonna be pretty dope to see all the art that he has.
Guess what, guys? We have a world premiere of the Lake is Why video. Hope you guys enjoy.
See you next time on the Falcon Focus.
The lake is different from my previous school because it feels more like a family instead of like a school.
My first impression was I was very nervous. The teachers and staff are very, very supportive. If you need anything, they're right here.
Ever since I came here, like I don't feel stressed, and it's like such a good school because the staff, like, they truly care about you, and they don't care like just about your grades. They care like how you are.
This place has been way better than I thought.
It turned out really different. It's the opposite of what people tend to say.
They take you on field trips to explore different career paths. It's really amazing.
They helped me get my first job.
I started feeling more confident after I came here because we're all like in the same situation, so it's like we get help from everyone. I feel like if I would have been to an actual high school, I would be struggling and doing bad things like ditching and stuff.
When people ask me why I'm so successful, the lake is why.
The lake is why. The lake is why.
The lake is why.
The lake is why.
The lake is why.
When people ask me why I'm so successful, the lake is why.
Yeah.
Item 9.4, CSEA President Helen Steinmack.
Good evening, President Garcia, members of the board, Superintendent Mr. Bennett, and Cabinet. I'd like to begin tonight by congratulating two very deserving men whose leadership makes Paris Union High School District stand out above all others. To be selected by AXA as the statewide superintendent, Mr. Bennett, and the Personnel Administrator of the Year, Mr. Skorpanich, that's a huge accolade, and it makes me very proud to be in the company of these outstanding individuals. I'd also like to thank Grant Bennett for inviting our CSEA e-board to meet with the search committee for the new superintendent, who will lead and guide us next year and beyond. Classified employees aren't always included in decision-making, and I want to express how truly appreciative we are to be included in this process. With the uncertainty and fiscal dilemmas that face us, we have been working with the district to find cost-saving and effective measures that Classified can do to support the district in these difficult times. We agreed not to have subs come in immediately when an employee is absent, except for certain circumstances and in certain classifications. Although we received a little pushback from our members with an explanation that we all have to do some part to be fiscally responsible, we were able to pass the MOU for sub-coverage. We also worked with the district to bring some lower option plan health designs for health and welfare that may be more affordable to some members, especially when the insurance rates have gone up dramatically for this coming year. We continue to struggle with the economy in its current state, and even our members question if working at McDonald's for $20 an hour is better than some of the work our members perform. Also, we will bring forward in May our initial proposal to Sunshine with the District for the last year of our bargaining unit contract. We elected delegates to our CSEA conference that will be held in San Jose from July 28th through August 1st. And I wanted to extend an invitation to the board and cabinet that they may be interested in seeing what we do at the state level. And as a bonus, our own Adam Weinberger, a campus supervisor, leads our over 250,000 members as the president of CSEA. Please let me know if you are interested, and I will get additional information back for you. On another note, 20 classified employees made that stressful decision to retire and accept the CERP that was offered by our district this year. Although not a major dent in the budget, our members are continuing to help offset the financial burden on the district, and we thank all of them for their years of service to Paris Union. Again, I want to thank all those who make it possible for our members to have a safe and secure position in the district. We are grateful to the district to allow us to meet for problem solving, relationship building, and to utilize interest-based bargaining for negotiations. We have grown in membership over the years and in thought and in actions with the district and the board. We sincerely appreciate your support and look forward to better fiscal times to come. Thank you.
Item 9.5, President Jason Miller, PSEA President Jason Miller.
Congratulations to all the Rave Award winners. Congratulations also to Mr. Bennett, Mr. Skorpanich for the AXA awards that you received. Very well earned. I've worked with both of you for many years. Very well earned. I want to echo what Ms. Steinmeck said. Thank you for inviting the PSEA Executive Board in the new superintendent search. I want to talk about what we want in a new superintendent, but before I do, I want to recognize just tentatively Mr. Bennett's service to this district. I say tentatively because I want to take a future board member to explore your service and thank you later. So I don't want to talk about a new superintendent without recognizing the service you've put, not just as superintendent here, but the many years you've spent in this district. So what do we want in a new superintendent? I'm sure many people will have many different answers to that question. I would like to impart PSEA's perspective. I'm not commenting on what is being done by superintendents now or has been done in the future or the past, but rather a perspective and general criteria for top leadership that I think about often and not with any particular person in mind. Some of the best leaders understand that they should support their people, the ones that they lead, and not interfere with their employees' work. We should get somebody that understands that while we do put students first, the superintendent will not likely interact with students a whole lot, at least not on the scale of a classroom teacher. And so superintendent puts students first by being a transformative leader that empowers and motivates their employees. We need somebody that is connected to the district and the school sites that it serves. We need somebody that will communicate with employees, parents, students. We need somebody with discernment. Discernment is a hard commodity to come by in our society. We need somebody that will have discernment in making solid decisions for staff and students, and somebody that can cut through a lot of the educational white noise that is out there and current educational fads that may interfere with actual education. We need somebody that understands the real priorities in education and works towards those priorities. We should have somebody that is good with people and authentically good with people, not somebody that's faking it or comes off like a used car salesman. We need somebody that will not micromanage, but still understands what is happening in the different departments that they oversee. In a word, we need somebody perfect. I know that nobody is perfect, but working hard towards that goal is a noble cause. I hope that the new superintendent understands that no matter how good they are as a top leader, they will get hit from a lot of different sides, sometimes without even knowing in advance what is going on. I've had that myself. We hope that we can help PSEA, CSEA, and all the staff. We hope that we can help that person be strong. We need somebody that can network and somebody that understands the dynamics and flavor of different groups throughout the district. Whoever is chosen, PSEA is committed to working with that person for our members to help the district thrive. Thank you for this time to speak.
Item 9.6, comments by the Board of Trustees. Trustee Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd also like to echo the comments by Ms. Steinmack and Mr. Miller. Congratulations to Grant and to Kirk for your actual awards, well-deserved. Also for all the Rave Award winners. I didn't get a chance to say hi to everybody as they were up here, but if anybody's still out in the audience, congratulations. Also, the lady from Liberty, Anna Bosniak. Bosniak, okay. I'm sorry if I messed up the name. I'm sure I did. But 2 years in a row being the CIF champion and being, as I said, third in nationals, that's crazy. Third in the state. I'm sorry, third in the state. Yeah, no, so, I mean, just outstanding. And she's only, I remember she was a freshman last year when she came into it, and she's a sophomore this year. It's just nuts that we're going to have somebody going for the next 2 years in one of our schools going through that, being ranked nationally. It's just crazy, especially from a school that's so young. And that's really cool to see. And hope everybody had a good spring break, and we're chugging along to the end of the school year. So I hope everybody has a nice end of the school year as well.
Trustee Vallejo.
Yes, I would just like to add that I know times are tough right now. I will say that the environment for all school boards, it really makes me angry because I'm just saying like school boards in general that are very controversial. That does make me mad because I believe school boards should not be political, should not be politicized at all. It should just be focusing on the students, and that should be your values, students, staff, and everyone in between. And I just want to let everyone know that we're trying really hard to focus on everyone, focus on the students, focus on the staff. And I also want to let you all know, like, I still also feel that the environment here at this district, I feel like, you know, we're trying to be better after everything that happened, but I still feel like there's no trust here between us and then management and then you guys. And, you know, that's okay. It's okay to declare it, and it's okay to say it, because that's a lot of other organizations. But I want to just let you all know that we need to have these uncomfortable conversations. You know, for me, I'm always having these uncomfortable conversations in these board meetings every time. And do I like it? No, but I have to, just so we can open the conversation to see what else is more out there, because I don't want to be a district where we're just saying yes to the same thing all over again, all over again, all over again. And one thing that I will say is I am in a job where I have amazing leaders that really put the students first, the staff, like they take care of everyone. And I want to be like that. I want this district to be, everyone to be happy, to be like, wow, like I'm in a very healthy place, because I can tell you that the job that I currently have, I'm in a very healthy place. I've never had a job where I was like, wow, I really like my managers, because typically sometimes we've all had not good jobs where we don't like our managers. But I want you all to know that the more honest we are, the more outspoken we are, we can really solve this issue to create that trust again. And I know right here it's a little bit more uneasy because I know we're trying to fill in a new superintendent, but I hope by the time that we get one, then things can go back to normal. I know it just, everything has been so chaotic, but I want you all to know that even the people that are coming today and to talk, I really appreciate you all, because we need those conversations. We need you guys to speak, no matter what it is, because we all need to have open minds to be like, oh, what are we missing? Because that is how I am. I have my own views, but I always like to know, well, what am I missing? Because, sometimes we all tend to be unconsciously biased. And I try not to. I try to be like, okay, like, what am I missing? What do I need to work on? So I always like to let all you know that you can call me, you can email me, and we can try to figure this out together, because we're all in it for the long run. And I hope to complete all the goals that I want to complete to help students and staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Stafford.
First, congratulations to Mr. Bennett, Mr. Scarpanich. You guys, you're doing something right to get this far and be able to achieve what you've done. Grant, I've known you for many years now. We've worked together, and I'll save some of the details for your ceremony or whatever you decide to have. Congratulations to Liberty. You continue to really set the pace and raise the bar, and the students are doing so well. All the schools, I'm really proud of the district. It seems to be calm. People are caring about each other. I feel really proud to be here, and it's an honor to serve. It's a feeling that, you know, when you've been in the district for so long, I've been here, I don't know, going on 20 years, I guess, but you can see the success. You can see the commitment of the teachers, of the staff, and I really want to say thank you. Thank you so much for everything you do, and I'm very proud of everyone involved in educating our students and kids, and I'll be proud to send my grandkids to Paris Union High School District. Thank you.
Trustee Campos.
Yeah, you know what? I'd like to kick it off by congratulating and thanking Grant and Kirk for your AXA awards. Obviously, you guys are in leadership positions, and it seems like you're leading in the right direction, and so we appreciate that. I know I do personally. I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank Mr. Hannon. You know, I hope that people understand that one of the first decisions that we made as a board was to increase and invest in our campus security. And for me, I'm really proud to see that, you know, we're giving these awards to the Heritage staff, and I hope that everybody has felt the investment that we did there. You know, the bottom line is, hopefully when people send their kids to school, that they feel safe, and we thought that was extremely important, and that we emphasize that, and that's why we made sure that we invested in that, because we want to make sure that if we have the campus security team that we need and that we have there, your kids are going to be safe and staff's going to be safe, and that's extremely important to me, and I think to everybody, because I think that's where you kick off the learning, and so that way they're in a position where they can learn in a safe environment. So, you know, that's one of the things, and I do want to congratulate all the RAVE winners also as well. I'd like to congratulate also Anna, and is it Bozanek? Okay. You know, the good news is that she's gone. I wish she'd be here to thank her, but if I would have said something probably when she got there, I would have probably cried, and I'm not an emotional guy, but I hope you guys understand that her accomplishment and the investment in sending her there is extremely important. You know, hopefully we can host wrestling events, because what she did for us as a district is she's going to bring a spotlight to Paris Union. And so, you know, once people start to come and see her, she's going to expose her other teammates and the other athletes within the athletic programs. And it's extremely important. I mean, you know, a national champion is extremely an accomplishment that is extremely important. And so please thank her. I mean, it's just, she was beaming. It was just like, you know what, whatever we spent, it was worth that smile. And I'm sure, you know, she got down and did her business and handled it, which is extremely cool. So glad to know that we, you know, we supported a champion. Another thing too, you know, in watching the videos, I'd like to thank the Paris Lake staff and students. It seems like you're creating a culture of support and a great environment for those students. You know, a lot of us sometimes don't operate in a regular environment. You know, sometimes we need something different, and it takes a certain amount of, a certain type of person to work within that population. And I know for me, you know, when I look at LCAP and all these other things, the special populations are always near and dear to my heart, because, you know, those are the kids that sometimes people have written off. But you know what, a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of love, a little bit of success, and their life can change, and it seems like that's what's going on there. So if you guys see, if anybody's here from Paris Lake, just please send my thank you for that, because I know watching that video, it's a great thing to see. You know, in terms of you as a community, you have a great opportunity. You know, right now, you know, we thank Grant for everything that he's done for the school district, and now we have the opportunity to bring in a new leader. And it's very important, if you guys haven't gotten on the website, go to the website and make sure you fill out the superintendent survey, because we don't know what you want or what you need unless you tell us. And so the more information that we gather, the more data that we get, I think that's going to help us in bringing the right person to this district and to move us forward. You know, and I hope people understand, you know, when you look at us, we're a pretty diverse board, pretty diverse group. And I'm proud to say that in a lot of the hirings that we've had, we've done it with the lens of equity. And more importantly, I think we hired the right people, regardless of who they were. They were the right people for the right spot. And so I know that sometimes these are things that aren't seen and they're not talked about, but I can tell you that as a staff, I think we, you know, as a group, as a collective group, we're taking the time, we're asking the questions. You know, what we say and do in closed session is extremely important. I think everybody's giving their opinions, everybody's giving their thoughts, they're asking good questions, they're asking the right questions. And so, you know, at the end of the day, I hope you know that it's you that we're serving. You know, we have to make tough decisions at times. And, you know, I'm still hopeful that, you know, some of that tough decision that we've had to made on March 15th can be rectified hopefully by May 15th. But, you know, we'll have to see. But just, I hope you understand that we're considering a lot of different things, a lot of different factors. And, you know, hopefully at the end of the day, the product that we will present to you guys is going to be something that's, you know, worthy of your approval and your hopefully support. So just thank you guys for being here, for listening, and hopefully, you know, you guys will fill out that survey. Are students able to fill it out, or is that just for?
I believe everybody.
Yeah, so, you know, students, if you're out there, you know, fire it up and throw your 2 cents in there. And so anyways, that's pretty much it. And thank you for taking the time here to be here, because I know obviously time's important. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, everybody. While you were all speaking, I was listening to everyone, and it's an honor to work with you guys as well. You know, I know we have a lot of difficult moments, especially in closed session, very difficult moments. But this has been an amazing experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, even though, you know, we deal with what we deal with, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, knowing the impact we're making on our students and staff. To capitalize on Mr. Campos's statement about the surveys, you could go onto the district website and it'll pop up right away, so everyone has the opportunity to fill it out. So that way we know what your interests are in the next superintendent. And, you know, trying to be politically correct, but I'm probably not. So God willing, we get the best superintendent to fill Mr. Bennett's shoes, because he has some big shoes for the next one to fill, definitely. And now, on to Ms. Candace's announcement. So I apologize, this is a script that I'm gonna follow, so just act like we're surprised. Good afternoon. I wanted to share not one, but 2 pieces of exciting news. Grant Bennett was selected as the Association of California Administrator, ACSA, Statewide Superintendent of the Year. Yay. Good job. Kirk Skrpanich was selected as ACSA Statewide Human Resources Administrator of the Year. It is not often there are 2 statewide winners in the same district. This speaks not only to the exceptional work done by Grant and Kirk as individuals, but also the outstanding work done by everyone in the district on behalf of the students we serve. We held a small surprise announcement this morning, and both Grant and Kirk made similar statements about the recognition being about the work of the entire Paris Union High School District family. Please join me in congratulating Kirk and Grant. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, my turn. I definitely want to give a big shout out to Anna, even though she left with her father and her coach. Well, they're both coaches. That was an experience. Like, just imagine being in her shoes, trying to feel the, you know, conquer her demons that she's fighting, and then she gets to be placed number 1 in the nation. That's amazing. That's like being the president of the United States in my eyes. You know, it's just, you deserve all that recognition possible. You know, I want to give a shout out to all the rave recipients. That's huge. And, you know, I'm an advocate for all the awards and recognition for everybody, even though not everybody could be recognized. And I also want to recognize our teachers and our classified for everything, and our cabinet and administrators. Am I missing anybody? I hope not. If I am, I apologize. Because I think everything we do is essential, in not only in our district, but in the community. It expands. When we have one successful student, they take their skills and their knowledge elsewhere, and everybody flourishes. That's just how we look at it. I talked about the surveys. Again, I'm going to say it again. If you pull up the Paris Union website, it'll pop up there, and please fill it out. Please, the more the merrier. We need as much information, as much data as possible. The other week, I had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. for Coast to Coast to help lobby for some money. And one of the amazing ideas it just hit me because everybody was talking about, what are we doing for our students? How are we setting them up for careers and, jobs, part-time jobs, and things that will inspire them to be successful in life? And everybody's talking about all the local restaurants off of Nuevo. And I'm like, what else do we have in Paris? And it hit me. We have Paris Skydive. We have aviation. We need to reach out to these people, the private owners, the company, and let's see what we can do. Maybe we can get our kids to participate. Maybe they'll look into the mechanics. I don't know. Maybe they want to be a pilot. I don't know, but something. And I think that'll be amazing. We already have contracts in other places, but aviation, that's big. That's not small. We have it right here in our hometown. So if anybody knows or has great ideas, please send them to us. We want our kids to have the best. And if you guys own businesses and are willing to take on some of our students to help out, let us know, please. We really appreciate you. And then I see a lot of community members out here. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to come acknowledge our students and our community. And I know you all have concerns. I see all the cards. And although we can't respond, we're listening. So I promise you that. And we'll have the dialogue. I promise you that. We always do. But please know we're listening. And that will conclude my statements, and then I'll move on to item.
Mr. President, one more thing I forgot.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I wanted to bring this to attention. When I sat down, there was a candy bar sitting right here in front of me, and it was misspelled. And I was like, gonna get on somebody. But no, it says, here he is, Joshua Jake Al-Zubaydi, net weight, 8 pounds, 9 ounces. It's the cutest darn thing. Somebody in the audience put this up here. Yeah, proud grandpa over there. Joshua Jake Al-Zubaydi, cutest little boy right here. And I really love the packaging on this thing. And it says arrival day, amount and serving, actual arrival facts, gives you arrival date, arrival time, weight, length, ingredients, a little bit of mom, a little bit of dad, and a whole lot of love. Manufactured by Jake and Jacqueline Al-Zubaydi. I just love this. It's awesome. But congratulations on your grandchild.
Congratulations. Anybody else? All right. Item 10.1, invitation to address the Board of Trustees on non-agendized items. Are there any public comments on non-agendized items?
We do have some public comments.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to be consistent. Before I read this, I'm going to ask out of respect that we respect the time, because we'll be forced to turn off the mics, and then at that point, we'll ask you to leave. I don't want to do that. I'm asking you all to be respectful with the time. I'm going to try and give everybody the exact 3 minutes. That's my goal, okay? So now, if there's chaos or a lot of disruption, I'm gonna bring that down just so everyone can have the opportunity to speak, because I still want to hear what everybody has to say. So on that note, individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes with board consent. The president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. In addition, the president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. All right, we're all good? Okay. First speaker is Rocco Nelms. I hope I didn't mess up your name. Okay. Rocco, come on down.
Got it right this time.
Thank you. I apologize when I messed it up.
You're good. You're good.
Thank you.
Let me know when you guys are ready, and I'll start. Alrighty. Dear board members, today I stand before you to shed light on the devastating impact of the DEI budget cuts in our district. It undermines the very fabric of our education system and deprives our students and families of the resources needed to thrive. As we witness these cuts erode the diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in our schools, we must recognize the profound consequences that they carry. Our students, especially those from marginalized communities, are going to be denied crucial support systems, opportunities, and representation, hindering our academic success and personal development. Furthermore, these budget cuts jeopardize our school's safety and curriculum. And I will let you guys know on a personal note that I have seen racism on our campus, and I have been a victim of racism, and who are we to say that that's justified in our school district? Furthermore, these budget cuts jeopardize our school's safety and our curriculum's visits, and if we fail to equip our future leaders with the cultural competency and protection necessary to achieve success, then how will we develop further as a society? We cannot continue to allow these things to happen in our district, and we cannot afford to stand aside while our students' futures are sacrificed at the altar of short-sighted budget decisions, which is why I come here again and plead with you to consider alternative budgeting solutions once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Janice, Roots? That one, huh? Roots, Janice Roots. All right, no problem.
Good evening, and thank you very much. Again, Janice Roots with the Center Against Racism and Trauma. We're working with PUHSD students, parents, concerned community members, local, state, and regional NAACP branches, as well as the Parish Council member, David Rabb, who's here this evening, and Assembly member, Dr. Corey Jackson. Today, we want to ask PUHSD to bring back the CARES teams, the wellness centers, and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Director. We know the team was formed because the California Department of Education found PUHSD had significant disproportionality with regard to suspensions in Hispanic students. The team has produced not just good results, but incredible results. You've had the report yourself today, and we could see that. However, laying them off will result in going back to where you were, maybe worse. And, you know, do you really need that kind of scrutiny from the state? You know, this is the solution you put forward, and it worked. And I commend you for putting this solution together. But getting rid of it puts, you know, Paris Union High School District at risk. Students deserve to have someone to turn to when they are struggling, when they're in crisis. And that's what the CARES team and the Wellness Center do. And the DEI director is a solutions person, a linchpin holding things together with people services and other departments. And I think it's really important. This action negatively impacts the majority of students, not just some students or a small set of students. And I know you're only looking at, I won't say only, but for the most part, you're looking at your suspensions, and you should, and that's great. But look at what that MTSS does for all students, okay? Because they didn't approach this by just trying to secure and cure the disproportionality. They did this to go across all students, okay? And to try and help them all thrive. The last thing I would like to say is parents, students, staff, and community would not have to come before you like today if they were part of the budgeting process. So we also request that you implement participatory budgeting to have those most impacted involved in the process. Then you will have buy-in by the stakeholders in the beginning versus condemnation and questions after the fact. Thank you very much.
Pastor Brian Hawkins.
Good afternoon. So I want to first preface this and say that I'm not here as an elected official, because I know sometimes when I go to speak places, the first thing they'll say is that he came on the behalf of the city that he's not a part of. But I am a pastor of the community. And when people call on me, you know, I like to always say, as a believer, you're supposed to respond to it. You're supposed to answer to it. And one of the things I've learned is how to be a voice for the voiceless, how to speak up for those who don't really know how to articulate what they really got going on in their personal lives. You know, and as we're supposed to be light, right, to the world. Because a lot of times you hear the term Christian, and especially in the way the media has, you know, demonized it, it's like we become a judgmental group. So I'm gonna share with you individuals a story, because I think that diversity, equity, and inclusion really talks about how when the Bible talks about the 99 sheep and that one that was lost, right? That one that was excluded, that one that went off. But the Bible said that he went and found that one just to bring it back to the fold. And we could say that's about sin, but it's also about people feeling like outcasts, people feeling like they don't belong, people feeling like they don't have anywhere to really speak to or have somebody to speak for them. But Christ said, let me go and get that one person that feel like they're by themselves. There's a lot of people out there that don't look like me, that don't think like me, that don't pray to the same God as me, but the Constitution protects people like that. I know that we want the Bible to be a constitution, and of course me as a pastor, that's exactly what I want, but unfortunately the Bible doesn't supersede the Constitution of the United States. And as elected officials, we're called to represent all people, regardless if they're Republicans, Democrats, vegans. We're called to represent everyone. See how everybody laughed at vegan? Nothing else, but they laughed at vegan, right? That's crazy. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, well, why is there a need for diversity, equity, and inclusion? Well, somewhere there's individuals that feel like they're not included. Somewhere individuals feel like they don't have equal access. Now, you may not feel like that. Maybe your children don't feel like that, but there's somebody that do feel like that. And because they do feel like that, then we're honored to even be a voice for that person, even if you don't get it, even if you don't understand it. Does it hurt you to include them? Does it bother you to have them be taught what they want to be taught, or to love what they want to love, or to go where they want to go? No, it doesn't bother you at all. But it bothers them when you exclude them. It bothers them when you say you don't have equal access. It bothers them when you say, no, we're going to be divided. We're going to make sure that you don't have the access to what everyone else have access to. And that right there is wrong. Even if you can't define it in the Constitution, morally, you know it's wrong. So at the end of the day, I challenge you, since we like to say we're a Christian nation, right, a Judeo-Christian nation, I challenge you to do what Jesus did. Don't just say what would Jesus do, but do it. And go find that one sheep and say, you're included too. Thank you.
Ashley Williamson.
Hi there. There's a lot of really good comments, but I'm going to make a mess. Sorry. My name is Ashley, and I have 2 children in the district, so I would like to begin with a preamble. Christopher Rufo is a right-wing reactionary activist who rapidly rose to prominence as a voice opposing the nationwide protests that took place in response to the public lynching of George Floyd. He sensationalized, misled, and outright lied about what's happening in diversity training programs across the country. He claimed critical race theory was being weaponized despite it being himself who was recklessly distorting the program. The artist formerly known as Twitter has posts from Rufo explaining his agenda, and I quote, "We have successfully frozen their brand CRT into the public conversation and are steadily driving up negative perception. The goal is to have the public read something crazy in the news and immediately think CRT." Christopher Rufo in the last year has refocused his sights to DEI and claiming its need to be abolished. Unfortunately, his manufactured panic has had real-life consequences to the teachers and counselors who you voted to eliminate their jobs. Continuing the topic of conservative extremism on Twitter, I'm concerned Trustee Steve Campos also has an agenda. You've posted you consider Democrats to be pedophile, racist fascists. You've been vocal about your support of Sonia Shaw's forced outing policy, a policy that has brought heavy lawsuits to Chino Valley School District from the Attorney General's office, a policy that a judge has issued a restraining order out of fear of student safety. And last year, while you were defending the forced outing, you even gave the advice to get involved with any committee connected to funding. They're the ones who elect trustees. In short, they are the major stakeholders. So now you are a major stakeholder. My question is, what's your agenda? Is it going to be abolishing diversity? Is it going to be forced outing? Because it doesn't seem to me that your agenda is at all concerned with the well-being of our students.
Yahiel Carvanza?
Hi, I'm here. I came from behalf of TODEC Legal Center. It's right here. We do immigration help and help people to get the citizenship. And right now, our concerns in the Paris High is that, well, in the district in general, is they want to cut off they want to close the wellness center. And I've seen that really a lot of people need the wellness center. I have a lot of friends that are going through a lot of harsh things, and I think they really need to keep that wellness center because, may I say something in Spanish also?
Yes.
It's okay, see? I mean, I can say it in English and in Spanish.
Yeah, that'll work. Go ahead.
Ah, ok. Pues muchos sus papás son trabajadores del campo, entonces no reciben la atención necesaria. ¿Sí me entienden? No. Hi.
Hi. I'm going to help you if you want, para traducirte lo que estás diciendo. ¿Sí?
Puedo decirlo en inglés también, solo.
¿Prefieres en inglés?
Sí, o sea,
Si tienes una palabra que no puedes, me dices y yo te ayudo.
Ok, perfecto.
Okay. If he wants to say it in Spanish and then he'll translate for himself, and if there's a word he can't, then I'll go ahead and help him out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, they don't receive enough attention from their parents because some of them, they are farm workers and they go out to the field because that's what we mainly focus on, farm workers and immigrants. But also it's for, I mean, I've seen students that they aren't necessarily immigrants or they don't come from an migrant family, but they also have struggles and it's very close people. Yes, and I think this is a good opportunity to present these problems. And yes, gracias. Thank you.
The gentleman that just spoke, I'm asking the superintendent to get your contact information so someone could connect with you, okay? Jasmine Lopez.
Good evening. My name is Jasmine Lopez, and I am also a student from Paris High School, and I am also a volunteer, youth leader, and member at TODEC. We are here today to share our concerning in regards to the Wellness Center and mental services and support closing. We worked very diligently to secure this center at our schools. These centers are very important for immigrant students that are going through so much trauma due to their vulnerability. Many of our families are going through hardships with rent and food and shelter. Meanwhile, all the children are listening to all this bickering, which also affects with their mental health. And we ask that you support our schools, wellness centers, and support services offered at our schools. Thank you.
Dr. Carolyn Murray. Thank you. Councilman David Rabb.
Members of the board, good evening. I'd like to start off by first saying I'm speaking as a tax-paying resident in Paris. I've had the opportunity to serve on the Paris City Council for the last 9 years. I know many members on this board. Mr. Bennett was my principal at Paris High School over 20 years ago. Mr. Scorpanis was my 5th grade teacher way back in 1996. I think it was your first year teaching, but I'm here, yes, I'm here to echo the sentiments of all the other speakers that the board seriously consider reevaluating its March 5th decision to cut the CARES team, the wellness centers, and the DEI director. I don't know if the people really understand this. A lot of the kids that are coming up, Generation Alpha, are starting to come of age where they're going to these different high schools. My nephew's starting at Liberty High School. They have a lot of mental health issues due to the overabundance of social media, being glued to their devices all day. I think we're gonna see a rise, an uptick in mental illness, and they're gonna need those centers to help out. In terms of DEI, I think the word gets a bad rap, but I think it's really coming together as Americans first and noticing our differences, but celebrating our differences, as Pastor Hawkins said, and just really ensuring that we are one nation under God. And I think if you're gonna get pushback from some of your constituents, maybe even just change the title, but still have the same mission statement. On another note, I'm speaking also as a tax-paying resident. I really want to impress upon this board to increase transparency. First thing is the video broadcasting of the meetings. The audio feed is good, but as a resident, somebody that wants to see what's happening in the district, I think video will help accomplish wider transparency. We saw many of the beautiful presentations by the students at the various high schools, Paris High School being the best as an alumni. But I think broadcasting it, video, live feed will help bring the community, get involved. This is a wide district. People who live way out in Menifee, Sun City, Romaland, it's far for them to come out, even the other side of Paris. So I really want to impress upon the board, increasing transparency, increasing the value. Outside is very hard to hear what's happening, and maybe even providing chairs. Now, these 37-year-old knees are having a hard time standing, so I can't imagine someone 20, 30, 40 years. So it's just increasing transparency. So thank you for hearing me out today. Once again, I speak as a resident, someone that's lived in this community. My father went to Paris High in 1960. He was kicked out. His oldest sister graduated in 1947. My mother went to Paris Lake to get her degree at 30 years old, and I graduated from Paris High School in 2004. So I love this community. I want to give kudos to the board. We may not always agree, but I appreciate your service to the community. Thank you.
I'm just going to apologize for this last name if I mess this up. Jennifer Dreger? Did I say that right? Okay, thank you.
Hi. Okay. Excuse me. Hi, everybody. I'm a parent. My son is Jacob Armour Dreger. He is a hemophiliac and has been waiting his entire life to play a sport. Track became his passion and reason for living because one coach believed in him, Carlton Austin. The 2023 track program ran by Carlton Austin, who has over 50 years of experience. He ran several successful track programs, was a national runner himself, and has helped create the Rancho Cucamonga program and has helped Brenda Martinez. She was a silver medalist for the 800-meter Olympics. The coaching staff was dedicated, invested and cared deeply about the kids' success, future scholarship opportunities. They also invested in relationships with us as parents, encouraging us to come and support the kids. Smart coaches understand that parents are the backbone of the kids' success. We went to several invitationals, 8 to be exact, broke several school records, made it to CIF, and we're excited for an incredible 2024 school season. We were on our way to being a well-respected program in the state. Unfortunately, that never happened. And Coach Austin was fired for reasons that we feel are still not justified. The new 2024 track coaches, Richard McClure and his wife, that were hired to be the head football and track coach for the school. There's a huge conflict of interest because it is evident that he puts more effort into football than into track. And obviously my son cannot play football. He locked up the hurdles as soon as he became head coach in June of 2023. only leaving football as an option for during the off-season. Trying to get the fast kids to play football, basically. Richard McClure claims to not know the kids because he's new to the school, but he did take Andres Ortiz alone to several winter meets during December of 2023. She is a thrower and the only one that made it to state last year. They make it difficult for us to communicate with them and try to keep as far away as possible from the coaching and the track program. We only went to 1 invitational this past season instead of 8. The coaching staff is defensive, argumentative, resentful, and play the victim. This was the last straw that Richard McClure and his wife did not register our kids for the final IE invitational last weekend. He said it was based off of CIF championship times, which we found out is a bold-faced lie. Only 2 kids made it with those times, and they had the opportunity instead of 8 like last year. The kids didn't stand a chance, but lying and not allowing them to run this last weekend proves exactly where their motives are, that they want the track season over to be the focus instead of football. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacob Drager.
Hello, my name is Jacob DeRegger. As my mom said, I am a part of the Heritage Track and Field program. I have been for about to be 3 years. I take track very personally. Of course, as my mom said, I grew up having hemophilia B, and as well, I also have ADHD. So of course, having coaches that do not support me, constantly talk negative about me, saying that I am not good enough to be on the program, even though I am, well, I may not be the best, but in this program, I am, at least should be respected. I, even though with my 800 PR of 202.35, which would have easily qualified for the IA Championship Invitational last weekend, I was not allowed to run because, as my mom said, the false CIF standards that for some reason our school has enforced on only our school. I sent an email to Mr. Jones, Ms. Chavez, and Mr. Martin the day of the invitational, and I would like to summarize it real quick. I know you have heard the complaints about some of the athletes not being able to compete today, Saturday, April 13th, 2024, because they did not hit the qualifying marks for the invitational. I wanted to show you proof that for me, my 100 PR, like I said, and even my 400 PR, 52.32, both would have easily qualified for the meet. I have sat by, accepted the disrespect after disrespect from your coaching staff with the hope that maybe this whole situation will turn positive. I have been told by coaches such as Mrs. McClure, you are not good enough to run the 800 and do whatever you want. I don't care. How can someone focus on running when their own coaches continue to doubt them and their abilities? I already have a blood disease and ADHD. I have grown up struggling my entire life. I had to train like crazy to get to where I am today. I never had the luxury of just being fast or normal. Maybe that's why me and my parents are so passionate about the situation. The last 2 days, Mrs. McClure and Mrs. McRitchie have both not held practice at the school. And Mr. McClure, who was at the school, lied to all varsity athletes about the qualifying marks with a smirk on his face saying, we were wasting his time. I'm enrolled in multiple college courses as well as multiple AP courses. I do not need to be stressed about track politics when I have to train hard and study hard. I believe I have a bright future and I will do anything to get to where I need to be. I only have 22 seconds. So I'll just kind of summarize. I've only been respectful to Heritage, all of the staff, from the athletic director, normal staff, the principal, but I have not been shown any respect back, even though I've been respectful, kind, whenever I get the opportunity to. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I have to go by the first name because I can't really break out. I'm going to say Cameron Smith, but it's Cameron for sure. And if I say your name wrong, can you please say it correctly?
It's Cameron, you got it right. So, hi, my name is Cameron Smith, and I would just like to speak about the inequities and arrogance of the athletics department with my time at Heritage. I would like to read you an email that I sent to both the assistant principal, the principal, and the athletic director himself to talk about the program and my experience and how it's gone so far. So for starters, the overall atmosphere and experience for this season has been distasteful and just unnecessarily draining. From the first days of coming to practice, which was set 2 weeks before the official start of the season, we were already met with an uninviting atmosphere and animosity from Coach McRitchie, who would yell at us and get upset with us for asking such questions pertaining to how the workouts would be ran or how she would run the program from here on out. We would try to give suggestions to help not just us returning athletes, but new incoming athletes who are new to the program. And we were yelled at and shut down and threatened. Not only did they threaten us, on another note, we had a parent meeting which was supposed to address how they will operate from here on out. During the parent meeting, the coaches had a clear showcase of their hostility and attitude towards us athletes, and whether the coaches themselves were irritated, tired, or just not feeling it, that doesn't give them no right to speak to parents or students with any amount of disrespect or negligence to us. So then again, after that, they had put me down to compete in a JV league, which is against the CIF rulebook. And they had told me when I had asked them that I didn't make varsity times and there was only 4 spots on varsity, which was something I never heard from my previous coaches from other seasons prior to this one. And they said for me to continue to run on varsity, I would have to run the 800. Even though I was put down on JV for my last senior meet, I came in first place and showed them that I did not deserve to be on JV. So with that, I had worked too hard to see my last season come to an end like this, and it's just disheartening to see my last senior year play out like this. I trained too hard to get to where I am now, and worked too hard to miss out on opportunities like Arcadia, and not have the opportunity to get the exposure and necessary experience to make those times and get that scholarship. I hope you guys take into consideration with what I'm saying today, and I thank you for your time.
Laverius Cash.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Lavarius Cash. I'm a senior. I've been at Heritage for all 4 years. I am president of our BSU club, Black Student Union. I've been running track and field since freshman year. I have experience in seeing different coaching styles freshman year as the AD, Mr. Jones, coaching just letting students run what they feel like they should run. And to my sophomore and junior year, an actual coach that I call Carlton Austin, who has sent people to the Olympics and actually gave me a place to call home and a sport to love. As you may know, the reason why we're all here, we have complained again and again about poor performance and non-communication with the current track coaches, Mick Ritchie and Miss McClure. This shows that all the hard work our track students put in just gets tossed aside. We have worked hard this year to get to where we are at. It's unfair and disappointing to get the exposure and running time needed, even though in previous years we have experienced much more meets and invitationals, but this year we have only experienced 1 invitational. As a senior, there is not much I can do for my redemption of this year, but I hope the issue of disrespect and lack of maturity can be handled for the future generations. I would like to say I have been through the world of sports, from playing basketball to boxing to karate to even football. I understand and know when a coach wants you to shine and thrive in that sport, but I have yet to feel that this year with the coaching staff. I have felt nothing but animosity and disrespect from Mick Ritchie and Miss McClure. It's not just me, but my team I call a family. At first, we tried to reason with them and ask questions. We got yelled at and shut down, until we finally decided to put up with it and shut our mouth. Until the last straw, we well deserve to be placed in meets and invitationals, but with their lack of respect and knowledge, also from Mr. McClure, who puts our times in, they didn't place us in. Most of the team got to miss out on being seen and recognized for their talent. As I stated before, I am a senior, and yet I cannot take back my last year running, but I can only hope and pray that this issue gets solved for future runners and generations, that they can run with new coaches that will love and treat them with respect. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ivan Nava?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ivan Nava. I'm very passionate with what I do, and I've been at Heritage running for 3 years. It has been an emotional roller coaster for me. I have been completely disappointed in this year's season in many ways. I started off with the open mindset because every year I've been with a new coach. I see no stability in the program and structure. I started the season listening to them and seeing what they could do, but noticed right away they don't know what they are doing. Our workouts are decided at the beginning of the week when we should have our whole season plan that can show some sort of consistency. I was told by Mrs. McClure that we don't need to stretch because it doesn't matter, which is not true at all. Now, I was personally affected by the coaches because of a personal matter. They took me out of the 800 meter, which is my main event for 3 years. Mr. McClure lied straight to my face and told me I wasn't in it and it was too late to add me. Instead of arguing, I had told my dad, and 10 minutes later, after he talked to him in person, I was added in. It had taken a toll on me mentally, and it stresses me out, which affects my schoolwork, social life, and races. I put in 100% only to be given 0% back. There was no effort to include us at invitationals, which is a pivotal part because that is when we perform our best. They haven't made the time to build a connection with us. I have a relationship with my former coach, Coach Austin. I owe him everything I have and know because he has taught me so much and gave me so many opportunities. Our Heritage coaches only do the bare minimum, give us a workout, and that's all. I want my future to be bright. I want to earn a scholarship and continue running for as long as I can. The majority of our team are school athletes with very high GPAs. If we can't get our names out there by racing at different events and getting better times, we won't have the opportunity to do so. I want a new head coach. I've had a new one every year. That's the only consistency I've seen of Heritage. I need to see change and respect, but not just for me, but for future students. Thank you for your time.
Dr. Green?
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. I am the parent of Cameron Smith, and I'm trying to get my emotions in check as this has been a very tumultuous experience over the past year. I'll be quick and very precise as I want to present a few events that has led to why we are here today. At the direction of Coach Austin, he spearheaded a wonderful program which resulted in the track team making CIF. Several athletes excelled to compete at the national level in Arcadia. The former coaching staff invested in the children and genuinely cared about their athletic success, their academic success, and their overall well-being. They provided resources for college and worked and continued to work with the children, pursuing their goals upon graduation, which many of them are working directly with my son to help him to secure a scholarship to excel in track as he graduates in June. Fast forward to June, to school year 23-24, new coaches were hired, which changed the outcome not only of the team morale, but the willingness to continue under the guidance of the new coaching staff due to their lack of respect, lack of professionalism, and desire to train them. And if I can just give you an example, walking into a parent meeting and you see coaching staff sitting like this, it was very disheartening for me as a parent. One, I worried about their safety and well-being, and also questioned whether or not the coaches really wanted to be there. A parent meeting was facilitated by the athletic director, Brandon Jones. In attendance was also Cheryl McRitchie, Richard, and Christina McClure. There was apparent tension, lack of professionalism, which I've already stated, and it was very concerned for not only me, but also many of the parents that were present during that meeting. There were also threats made by the athletic director indicated that if we as parents don't comply, he would shut the track team down. As any concerned parent, we should be allowed to voice our concerns, especially if it undermines the integrity of the program and goes against the school mission in relation to developing partnerships with parents. Inequities against team members were specifically targeted towards members who were part of last year's track program. I'll skip because my son already addressed how he was forced to compete in a JV event. And then also, I'll just end it with closing that my son was really hoping to secure a scholarship as it relates to track in an effort to achieve his long-term goal of becoming an RN. It was extremely disheartening to see my son and other children leave track events each week with such disappointment from the lack of empathy and support displayed by the current coaching staff. Granted, we cannot reverse what has happened, but it is with great hopes and the utmost humility to request a change in coaching staff to include the athletic director. Overall, these decisions are a direct outcome of his leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Moving on, 11.1 consent calendar. Approval of consent calendar. Do I have a motion?
Move. Second.
Any discussion? See none, please vote. Item 11.1 is a 5-0 vote. Item 12.1, special education update. Emil?
We're just calling him Grandpa now.
Grandpa.
G-Paw.
AKA Grandpa.
Emil, if you don't mind, I want to thank everybody for coming out and speaking. Like I said, we'll be having discussions later.
Is this started? My time's already started? All right. Okay. Sorry. 10 minutes ago. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Superintendent Bennett, President Garcia, members of the cabinet, members of the board, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to sit here and talk to you. There are a lot of slides. I am not going to go over all those slides with you, just so you know. It's information there for you to look at, review. But let's start off with, currently we have 10,929 students. Of the 10,929 students, 1,724 of those students, or 15.8%, are now identified with special education needs. 15.8%. 12 of those students are currently in assessment. Before I keep going, I want to just take 1 second. Hand up, come on, get up here. This is your special education staff. I don't know if you've ever met them or not, but I want to take a moment to introduce them. Mr. Chad Shaner. Dr. Esmeralda Chalfant, Erica Garcia. Mr. James Holmes couldn't be here with us tonight, but I wanted to make sure that we give him that accolade as well. You guys just have a seat if you like. All right. All right. So, surrounding districts, I want you to see what's going on in terms of our feeder schools, in addition to what's happening with other unified school districts in a sense. And you're going to see the trend is increasing across the district from that standpoint. We're a high school district. As a high school district, we're still at 15.8%. Still big, still large. So we're working with the gen ed side of the house, trying to figure out what we can do with MTSS, trying to figure out what we can do with RTI, so we can minimize those number of students coming into special ed and trying to figure out intensive level interventions before going into special ed. So you're going to see this trend come across in terms of from last school year and this school year, we're still at 15.8%, but take a look at those numbers in terms of what we had with student population total enrollment, in terms of total number of students enrolled in the district, total number of students identified with special ed, the numbers are growing, and they keep growing. You're going to see across the board in terms of the number of students served in regards to how many programs they're at and what's manifesting in terms of on the yellow highlighted are the total number of students in terms of their mild mod setting, and then on the bottom, the moderate to severe, and for those schools that designate a social emotional classroom. otherwise our behavioral program. Eligibility breakdown for you in terms of what's manifesting from other health impairment all the way to intellectual disability and what those areas of eligibility are coming across at. So so you have a flavoring in terms of what students are qualifying for. You're going to notice a big trend for specific learning disability, other health impairment, autism, intellectual disability in a sense. COVID did us no favors. COVID did us no favors. Special ed numbers by the site again. These are just numbers that, just a different way of looking at it for you. Again, district-wide. And then there's been a couple times where you've heard colleagues that have stood here and told you different things in regards to what happens with caseload coverages. We've had the union president at one time before Ms. Steinmich, who had shared, Mr. Nash actually shared that our paraeducators need more training in terms of toileting needs, things of that nature. Well, we heard it. We heard it loud and clear. And what we did was, let's quickly talk about what happens in terms of with caseload numbers and what goes on, especially behind the scenes in the special ed department. Between December and January, we're looking at preliminary caseload numbers, which we're working with our feeder schools from Menifee, Romoland, Newview, trying to figure out how many kids are coming into the district, what's going on, what's occurring, what are the trends that you're seeing, who's coming to our district in a sense. We try to have some of those conversations ahead of time to kind of figure out where those numbers are going to play. And then between February and June, we hold transition meetings. So we're at those meetings with parents, with the sending school district. We're hearing what's going on, what are the needs, so that we can get all that information. By July, August, we've already developed those plans, and now we're coming back and we're augmenting if we need to get any additional teachers. We work hand in hand with the Human Resource Department, and with that partnership, we make sure that we obtain substitute teachers if need be to manage those caseloads. The one thing that we've learned as well is there are some individuals that have the mindset, and this is not an educational code, that if a teacher, a special ed teacher, loses a student, either by attrition, either by the student has moved, that number still counts in a sense. Well, that number, for example, if they have 28 students on their caseload, they lose a student, some teachers are of the mindset that, no, that counts for the year. I have my 28. No, if you lose a student off your caseload, we have the right to put a student back on your caseload in a sense from that regard. So I want to make sure we clear the air on that piece. When we look at toileting and the concern with toileting, in your binder, you're going to see a section that says toileting. We have put together a very comprehensive piece, and I want to thank our district nurse, Ms. Escobar, Bevy Escobar, our 2 occupational therapists, our physical therapists, who have come together and done an entire training, not only from a video standpoint, but as well from a standpoint of an entire breakdown. We're going to go through all that. We're sending that out to all our paraeducators so they have the time to go through that, dissect that material, and if they have any questions to come back to us and go, okay, how do we do this? If there's any questions, our physical therapists, occupational therapists will be out, and our nurses to go support as well. All right, so district-wide mental health supports. You've heard a lot of concerns. There's been a lot of questions that have come up. So mental health in our district is broken down from the gen ed side of the house to the special ed side of the house. Let's talk about the special ed side of the house. We currently have the education-related mental health service. These are students that have qualified for an IEP. They have to qualify for an IEP. And does their mental health impact their educational performance? That could mean socially, that could mean academically. If so, we do an assessment through the ERMS process to determine if they qualify for educationally related mental health services. This is different from the wellness centers, the social workers, things of that nature. You're going to see some numbers up there. Again, I'm not going to read all this to you. It's there for you. Wellness centers. We have talked in great length about wellness centers. You've heard me come here and present to you about wellness centers. We're going to talk a little more about that in a second. But you're going to see 18,000 students have visited. Now, again, this could be the same student coming in multiple times in a sense, but we have clocked 18,000 times as somebody has come into those wellness centers. Crisis counseling support. I don't care if you're an education-related mental health support person or therapist, all the way to our social workers. When we have crisis, everyone jumps in for those support needs. Doesn't matter if you're special ed, gen ed. We've had quite a bit. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, you're going to notice as another tab, the ERMS process. In that process, you're going to see 2 different tracks. A track for students identified with non-threatening behaviors and then student with threatening behaviors. We've developed a very comprehensive system to make sure that if a student has a need, before going into the educational-related mental health standpoint, from an IEP perspective, What are we doing from the gen ed side of the house? Because we really want to build in those tier 1 and tier 2 interventions in a sense. So this is a process. Again, I'm not going to read this to you. It's just there for you to look at. If you have any questions, you can always come back to me and ask me those questions. CARES team, if you please look at your CARES tab for me. So I'm going quick because I know I've got a short amount of time. You're going to notice in here, and I want to highlight for you a couple things. When it comes to the counselor referrals, ATS referrals, students served at Paris High School, 1,920 students have gone through and have been served, whether it be through the social worker, the MTSS counselor, the behavioral intervention specialist. Kids are getting supported that way, and they're still getting supported to this day, okay? There's a stat that I wanted to give you on the Liberty High School stat. If you can just go to that page. It's right here in your binder. Out of every other student on that campus has been supported by the Wellness Center or by somebody on the CARES team. That's a huge stat if you think about it. Every other student has been supported. We're going to come to the, again, I just want you to have that information, to see that, to go through that, aggregate that. If you have any questions, please ask me. As a licensed marriage and family therapist myself, I have been provided supervision, and with my colleagues, Ms. Hopkins, along with Ms. Navarro, who are our ERMS therapists, along with some of our social workers, they've been helping me and providing support along to our interns. We have contracts with universities where we've brought on interns to come support us as well. It has been a phenomenal partnership. We're going to keep building up that partnership. We're trying to expand to other universities. We give our interns quite a bit of intervention supports. We go through different trainings all the way from theories to psychopathology, so that, and they can, when they're done with our program, be able to apply for working at a school system, a clinical system, things of that nature. All right, Medi-Cal funding. You have been asking, what can we do? Is there different funding sources? With the help of Ms. Raines and her department, we've come together along with Ms. Martin in the back. We've come together, we have found some solutions to hopefully answer your call of, is there a way that we can come up with different ways of getting this funding to come across? Some interesting information you need to be aware of, which is very unique to our district. 56% of all of our students qualify for Medi-Cal. That is unique to our district. Over half of our students qualify for Medi-Cal. That means the amount of funding that we can receive back from Medi-Cal is pretty considerate. However, the laws have changed, and they've changed to our favor, and this is what I mean. When you take a look at the breakdown from the years of 2015, 2016, all the way to now, look at the funding that has changed in terms of dollar amounts. It's quite significant. But you'll notice for 1920 and 2021, we've only received those checks of recent. We still have not received the check for 21-22. It's a backlog. It's a massive backlog in a sense from that end, from the Medi-Cal standpoint, because what the law has changed to is the way that it's based on, I believe now, student population, where even though we may not be billing in a sense, the law has allowed us to give a certain number of dollars for Medi-Cal, okay? That being said, we have to do two things. We've got to get permission from families to be able to get that information, to be able to go back to Medi-Cal. In addition, we have to have prescriptions, meaning we have to have a doctor to sign off on certain things, or a licensed marriage and family therapist with the right credentials, I wonder who could that be, to be able to also write scripts for the mental health services. So I've actually applied. I'm in the application process. It takes about 180 days. The hope is I get qualified for that so that I can write the scripts for all the mental health services that are going through the district from that standpoint, okay? Ms. Erica Garcia has also helped us, along with the technology department, with developing an intranet-based website for all of our special ed staff to be able to access all the documents and forms that they need, including the trainings that we've put together, and you have access to that. We've also, I want to quickly highlight for you, how are we doing on time? 3 minutes, okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. We've conducted a SPED audit. Dr. Chalfant has gone through and conducted numerous audits on our behalf because CDE, the California Department of Ed, has told us many times, hey, we're coming out, we're going to come out. We're like, okay, well, hurry up, what's going on? Well, they haven't come out yet, but we have been trying to figure out what's going on with our IEPs. Quick fact, there are 996 spots on the IEP that could be done incorrectly. 996 spots. So, give or take, we might miss a spot here or two, right? So we've worked with our teams, our phenomenal teachers, our special ed teachers, our administrators to really clean up those IEPs. However, with that being said, California Department of Education, along with the California Dashboard and CalPADS, has data that has shown that we have missed timelines in terms of annuals and triennials. In addition to that, we have not met conditions that are based from those from the California Dashboard and from CalPADS, that we have a plan to begin to looking at it addressing, but once we have the audit from CDE, we're gonna go through in depth again to figure out what we have to do. So I'm gonna skip a bunch of slides, because all this data is there for you, just for you to review, okay? I'm almost done, I got maybe 3 more minutes. I owe you lunch. Okay, let's see. But I got everybody a candy bar, so we're good there, right? So here's the deal. We're looking at our master schedule for Algebra 1, looking at the scope and sequence, thanks to Dr. Calhoun and her team and her department. We're also looking at IEP meeting calendar organization, so we don't miss timelines. We're looking at accommodations, building extra time for our students that are really struggling with math, science, things of that nature, instructional coaching, program specialist needs, so that way we can figure out how to assist and support, and then using programs like TutorMe and other different programs that are innovative, that are not going to get in the way of teaching, but be more of a support to our teachers in a sense, as Mr. Miller had shared earlier, right? All right, so let's talk about programs in a sense, pathways. In your binder, you've got a nice little thing that shows all the different programs that's happened at PALS. We've got 111 students that are being supported there. Wonderful photos. Ms. Garcia, who's been overseeing that program, has done a phenomenal job in developing that program, establishing that program. We have so many families that are so happy with that program. In addition, we've always kind of said, Marietta has kind of had the gold star. Well, you know what, Marietta, watch out, because we're coming for that gold star. So here we go, right? So we've got functional life skills, including kitchens, things of that nature. And then I'm kind of really going quick. We also have programs that we have sent our students to because we just don't have the capability to support some of our students on campuses, especially on comprehensive campuses, right? So you'll see with the Riverside County Office of Education, these are the programs. The number there coincides how many students we have in those programs. Again, I'm not going to read this to you. It's there for you. In addition, non-public schools. It's a very high-ticket item, but that high-ticket item is sometimes very necessary for our students that have various needs. Currently, we have 23 students that are being supported there. Again, the breakdown in numbers is where they're at and where the sites of where we place our students. Fortunately, sometimes students are going to have to reside in a residential treatment center. We currently have 3 students there, 2 students potentially looking at placing as well, so a total of 5 students. We try to work with SELPA, Riverside County Special Education Local Planning Area, to offset the cost, but there are certain conditions that we have to fulfill in order for SELPA to co-fund with us 50% of those funding streams. All right, California School of the Deaf. The other big thing that we've done, you'll see a tab under legal. So we have held now 1 due process filing, and we're prepared to file for another. Due process hearing is very simple. When the parents and the district are not able to come to a compromise, that's equitable in terms of both parties to resolve the situation. We've been able to do that on many occasions. However, in this particular case, we were not able to see eye to eye, and so we went to hearing and we won on all counts. In addition, in March of this year, same law firm. This is a law firm that has been advertising on TV. If you have an IEP, we'll support you. In fact, you can even get money for it. Unfortunately, some of our parents have gone through that law firm, and in these particular cases, same law firm, and after filing the right petitions, going through the same process, that parent withdrew the case because they realized there really is no money that's going to be involved in this process, aside from the fact that there was no case to be had. So, what's to come? We've got basketball tournament in terms of our unified PE program. It's phenomenal. We encourage you all to, we've already had this tournament. We had the tournament, oh wow, so we have that one. We've got unified flag football, and bowling is coming up. We'd love to have you guys there. It's May 2nd. If you can make it, it'd be great. The kids have a great time. Adults have a great time. In addition to that, we're doing PROACT training, unified sports. VIP prom is one of the most phenomenal proms you can ever go to. It's absolutely beautiful. The teachers do a great job. Mr. McMurtry and his team have done phenomenal with that. We're looking at our wellness centers. We're hoping that with the Medi-Cal funds, we can bring back those wellness centers as well, and then go from there. So, that being said, here's some of the trainings that we're doing with our teachers, things of that nature. And I want to send a huge thank you to our related service providers, our school psychologists, our speech and language pathologists, our occupational therapists, just the entire team that has truly been doing work that is so phenomenal. And they have tirelessly kept coming to work, kept doing assessments, and kept the torch going for our kids. That being said, any questions?
You owe us lunch. Yes. 14 seconds, and then I'll 2 minutes.
Actually, I had a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
I know for one of the slides, you said that you applied to be able to write prescriptions for mental health services. What's the process of that?
Right, so you have to be a licensed marriage and family therapist, or a licensed clinical social worker, or a licensed psychologist, or psychiatrist, or a medical doctor. And then you have to have been for a period of time. In addition to that, provided supervision. So there's certain criteria that the Department of Health and Consumer Services looks at, in a sense, from that end. Put all that into their database. They do a background check, and they determine if you're an appropriate applicant. So
Emil, when you're talking prescription, you're talking about services, not drugs, right?
that is correct. Yes, sorry. Let me be clear on that. Thank you, Mr. Bennett. This is a prescription simply to prescribe that so-and-so needs mental health services. Not that they need prescription medication or that, no, I'm not a psychiatrist or a medical doctor, so I'm not writing those prescriptions. That is correct. Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
So on that note, can you give us just some examples of the mental health services?
Absolutely. So individual counseling, group counseling, family counseling, I'm trying to think what else. Behavior intervention services support, so it could be wraparound support in a sense from that end, where we have the substance intervention specialist along with the behavioralist, along with the mental health therapist working together with the family in a sense. So the Riverside County Department of Health coined this term multidimensional family therapy about maybe 20 years ago in a sense. And it's basically the intensity of wraparound services. And so we're looking at trying to bring all that back through Medi-Cal systematically back. The more that we can produce funding from that standpoint, the hope is that the Medi-Cal team, along with business services and human resources, along with the board's approval, will allow us to bring all these positions back systematically.
And hopefully, I'm just looking down the road, will there be a conflict of interest that you're an employee and then writing, because, sometimes in certain situations, they can, 5 years down the road, they find it's fraud because people are prescribing services, this, that, and the other, but doesn't seem like that's a problem.
Not at all, because those services will be based on intakes, and based on those intakes, there's a need. If it warrants a need, then we write the prescription saying that the student needs the mental health services, and then we can recoup monies back for those services in a sense. It will not be based solely on, we think Johnny needs it, so we're gonna write it. It's all gonna be documented through Paradigm. Paradigm is the partner that we've partnered with as a district to help us with the Medi-Cal billing piece. And so from that standpoint, it's very clear that we have to show the intake through the intake and the need in the process. Once we have that, we can write the prescription for it.
So the beauty is we'll have the data of all the interventions done, and it just speeds up the process to get the student the services they need.
You got it.
Billed and paid for the services.
You got it. So that we can render, and so that way the program runs itself through the Medi-Cal billing piece.
And when you write those services, do you have to see the student as well, or
No.
do you just?
No,
okay.
because at that point, we've got the right personnel to be able to provide those supports. So the right people include anyone with a PPS credential in school psychology or counseling, licensed marriage and family therapist, licensed clinical social worker, or associate, meaning you're an intern. So either an intern social worker, an intern marriage and family therapist can also do the billing from that standpoint.
Okay. One more quick question.
Please.
For the slide.
Time doesn't count, right? Okay, just want to make sure, all right.
For the slide of your plan in response to the audit.
Yes.
When do you plan to do the data from how successful it has been, and when do you start? Is it when we get the funding, that is when you're gonna create this whole plan?
For which part are you talking about? You said the audit for like the California Department of Education audit, or are you talking about for the audit for the Medi-Cal piece?
The audit for the Medi-Cal piece.
Okay, so in terms of the audit for the Medi-Cal piece, Paradigm is going to help us with that process. And so the way we're envisioning it is going to be weekly. Our team members are going to go in and basically put a data push into the system. If you go past a week, you're not going to remember everything, right, from that standpoint. So hopefully weekly, monthly, so then from that end of the month, we're going to go in and audit what's happening, and then we're going to make sure that we're going to do conservative billing. So that way, we're not doing case management, we're not doing things where maybe you're just checking on a kid. It's, did you meet with the student face-to-face, and did you see the student for working with the student, let's say, on their concern with anger management, or did you meet with the concern on the fact that they're struggling with their bipolar disorder? It's going to be very prescriptive and specific. Those are the items that we're going to bill for, so that way Medi-Cal's not going to come back and say, we want our money back because we believe that you engaged in fraud in a sense from that standpoint. So my eyes are going to be all over that piece of it to ensure that we minimize any kind of monies that are being taken back by Medi-Cal, at the same time making sure that we're not wasting people's time in the billing process. That's why we're not going to engage in questionable billing, which is the case management, the consult piece. We're not doing any of those things. It's going to be direct. Crisis management, individual, group, family counseling, all that is billable time. Assessments, intakes. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Item 12.2, Career Technical Education Update. Diane?
Speak as fast as he did, but I'm going to go through my slides. Wait, I'm going to put my timer on so I don't have to ask. Okay, hold on. You know me, I'm going to do my best.
5 minutes?
I know, my part's going to be 5 minutes, but these lovely students from Liberty, I'm going to give up some of my time so that you can hear them share their stories. Yes, because they all need to go to bed.
That kid's like.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, so sorry. Yes, thank you. Well, I really am. This is just an update. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on you've been exposed to our pathways, the number of industry sectors that we represent, our staffing. I will just say that because of Liberty, we've increased our CTE staffing. This is just the next couple slides are just charts of our different pathways and the schools that host those. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time. You're very familiar with our CTE programs. I've gone over these slides quite a bit. I do want to spend just a minute, not quite a minute, 30 seconds. We did share this slide in my last presentation. These are the credits that our students are earning from Liberty specifically. So this was from 22-23. I think you have a copy of the PowerPoint. And so you can see that, gosh, I can almost see with them or without them. So you can see, at the last column, that's the number of credits earned, which I think is about 3,200. And if you equate that to the $46 per credit, that's at least $150,000. That's a savings for students. So so that was for 22-23. This system is connected to MSJC. So this is where we're at for the second semester. As of the first semester for this year for 23-24. So these are students that are already in the system. And so the caveat that I will share, and I'll bring up at the June, our LCAP report out, is that the CAPMA, I just have an account for MSJC, but we work with Riverside County Office of Education, and some of the courses that we have articulated are from Moreno Valley Community College as well as Norco College. So this is really underestimating the number of credits because some of the courses that are being taught in medical and our business pathway fall under the other districts in Riverside. So I'll update this information for you in June. But you can see that we're off to a good start. We have well over 800 students that are eligible to receive credits from college. So we're very excited about that because Liberty, a lot of the purpose is a pathway school. So our goal always is to ensure that students, that the courses that we're offering are A through G articulated with the community college or dual enrollment. This slide, just a recap, just kind of where we are with our internships. So when we look at all of our 12th grade students in a capstone, that's we have 276 students. Currently, we are able to place 48. Still waiting placements are 153. The greatest programs that are impacted are medical assisting pathway and our ICT systems programming. We are not able to get placements for those. We currently have 52 students that have completed all of their paperwork, but we've not been able to provide placements. And we have less than 8 weeks left. When we're looking into next year, our hope was that we would be able to provide an internship opportunity for all of our students in a capstone course across the district. So with that being said, I'm going to put a plug in because I hope that maybe at the next board meeting or before we recess in June, that the board would please reconsider the work-based learning position. Because right now, my office, which is my secretary, myself, and our job development specialists, are trying to make this happen. We just don't, if we want to move forward in providing our students with an internship opportunity, we just need some more support. So I will, and I will just say this, so I know Mr. Campos, you and I have talked about it a little bit, but that particular position is a classified position, and it's completely funded, or will be funded out of the CTE funds, which is our Career Technical Education Incentive Grant. Those funds cannot be used or transferred anywhere. They have to be specifically used for CTE and the programs. So, but if you need more information, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to meet with anyone or provide Cabinet with some more information if you need. So that is my shameless plug moving forward. Otherwise, we are going to have to limit the opportunities or look at alternatives, which would be on-site work-based learning opportunities, which really, what we hope is that students going through a pathway will be able to experience the relevancy of what they've learned on the job. So I will move on. We have some new,
Quick question.
yes.
What's the funding? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know the funding? So you mentioned how that would be coming out of the billing or the
The
funding from
CTIG,
CD.
yeah.
Do we have an approximate number that we know what we're working with? Or is that gonna come in the slide or?
Yeah, right there. So this is what we currently have. The CTIG, we get 1.6 million. That was our 23-24. We apply, this is a renewal grant, so every year we just apply. So you can see that we've consistently have received more funding in this particular grant that we have. And much of this grant is allocated to the staffing of our contract with Riverside County Office of Ed for our CTE teachers. This is all of our funding that we have available, but specifically for the work-based learning position would be either out of Perkins or the CTIG, but because Perkins, I mean, you can see the dollar amount. I mean, it's not as significant as CTIG. So having it in CTIG, that position is only geared and would only support the CTE programs because of the funding, because we have to go through an audit for these funds as well as Perkins, and part of that is ensuring that any staffing that's being paid is specifically supporting CTE programs. Yeah. Well, we submit an application every year this time, so I'll be submitting the CTIG application. So we submit a narrative piece, so it's based on a rubric and need, and plus they also use data from CalPADS because how our course sequence, so they look at how many CTE courses we have. So it's, and if any unused programs or any districts that don't have all of their money spent goes back into the pot. So that has been what's happened across the state, at least what I've heard from our consultants at CDE. So any unused money goes back into the pot, so sometimes we get a little incremental increase. But it is based on a rubric and need. So I'm gonna give you I'm gonna release some information that nobody knows, well, and even Candace doesn't know, she's probably scared right now. So we have, so in our office, as we're trying to expand this, work-based readiness skill set for all of our students, we have applied for a We Can Work contract. We Can Work. And under that contract, it's through DOR, it's Department of Rehab, and that will allow any student that holds an IEP, it doesn't have to be in a TPP class, but any student in the district that holds an IEP or a 504 has the opportunity to earn 300 subsidized paid hours in the workforce. So with that being said, we wrote in the application additional job development specialists. So the hope was if we were able to get a work-based learning position, plus we get the contract for We Can Work, that'll give us 3 job development specialists. So as a team of 4, they would all work together to create, because we have to work side by side in order to develop job placements, because we would be placing students from our gen ed side, and we would be placing students from our CTE. So I feel that if we were able to max out and get our 4 positions ultimately, and we will know about the We Can Work contract, hopefully next month, and I'll keep you posted on that, then we would have at least a staff of 4 folks that would be able to collaborate with our CTE teachers as well as our students, our special ed students. I believe that, in my experience, that would be enough. Correct. Oh, no, all of, oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Well, as I represent the district and the compliance piece for our state and federal programs, I always tell people that I don't look good in orange or stripes. So I am not going to put myself or the district in any situation that would be illegal or inappropriate. So we get reviewed every 2 years, and we're up for a review 2 years from now. So they look at all aspects of programs and services that are funded by the state or the feds. So yes, these particular pots of money are specific for CTE, and the weekend work contract, if we get that, is very specific for special ed students for paid placement, which is a great opportunity for our students.
And, sorry.
No, that's
quick
okay.
question. So, did you say that these funds expire or they don't expire?
No, so we have one-time funds, we have grants that we receive one-time money, and, understanding the purpose and, whether we're able to sustain, the program. You go into the planning part knowing whether it's one-time money and they're going to expire. So your thought process is much different. So when you have renewal grants, which these are, then you just have to remember to apply every year.
If you were still answering her question, I just wanted to. Okay. I also wanted to throw my 2 cents in because my daughter's a senior at Liberty and in the medical pathway, and there's very limited number of internships because they just haven't been able to get out there and make these connections with businesses and stuff like that. So it's not just my daughter. She won't be going into an internship this semester, but it's not just her. It's a lot of the students because we have these limitations right now.
Yeah. Yes.
When you say that these funds, that they get looked at every 2 years, I guess the people in charge of that, do they see like, oh, you're not having any internships? Like, does that affect it a lot, or do they understand the situation?
Well, that does not affect the FPM piece. It's really on the program. That's a program side. It's a local decision, but this is a decision I know Mr. Bennett has kind of given us a charge many years ago that his vision for this particular area would be that all students would graduate with, I think, was like 15 to 20 credits. And so we have been working towards that. And so Liberty has been a great foundation for us to kick that into high gear. We also have dual enrollment, which also plays a part in this as well. But for this particular, for CTE, we do articulation agreements. So these are great opportunities. You'll hear from the students for them to earn credits. And one of our slides, and I'll end it with, Ms. Carlin, is the number of credits that the students earned already. So it's pretty significant. It's a great opportunity. We just like to tie it up in a nice little bow so that when the students complete and they're in their last class, their capstone course, is that they're able to take what they've learned over the course of their high school career into the job market so that they can get a taste of what it's like and what they've learned. And I will share with some of our opportunities, some of our kids from our workability side have permanent employment now, and I'll get to those slides. So I just want to highlight we have some new business partners. So the Garden of Hope, so this is where we have a lot of our PALs. These are our PAL students that are learning horticulture. And so that's one of our new business partners. We also, I'm just kind of diverting a little bit to workability because I like to talk about them simultaneously because it's all about work-based readiness and providing students an opportunity. So under workability program, and that is a smaller grant, and that's about $65,000. We can't afford to pay a job development specialist out of that, so that's funded out of the LCAP. So the money for this grant really goes all towards students' subsidized wages. So we currently have placed over 58 students at GameStop, Walgreens, Texas Roadhouse, and Best Buy. These have been longtime business partners of ours since we've been doing this program. And so that Garden of Hope is a new one for us as well. These are our 3 alumni that went through the workability program and are currently still working. One at Best Buy from Heritage, one from Paloma, and another one from Heritage at GameStop. So they still are employed after they left us. So we call them our workability alumni. So we're very proud of the work that we're able to do in partnership with Emil. So these are our funding sources. These are the funds that over the course of the years you can see that they've consistently increased. So we're very I'm happy that we can continue to grow and be able to support our CT programs across the district. I'm not even keeping track now at this point, I'm so sorry. What? Okay. No, that's okay. You guys can interrupt. So real quick, just kind of the focus areas on the program updates. So we always strive that to ensure that our courses are A through G, or that they are articulation agreement or dual enrollment. Again, we're going to talk about our student, I'll always leave this on here, student internships, work-based learning opportunities to continue to expand. As we continue to grow with Liberty, we're going to continue to expand our business advisory participants. We do have one change that I will share. We are going to eliminate the EMT pathway due to student interest. We're making the decision to go into sports medicine, which is higher interest, and that is going to start for next year. So those are the course sequence that we're going to propose. Also very excited. I'm not going to read all of this, but I think Hector has shared, and most of you are aware, that we have a new auto shop. And this is Paloma updates. We have a MPR/culinary building that's going to be hopefully be August 25, 26. I know I'm always asking Hector, when is it going to be done? When is it going to be done? But it's construction. We also have the video production program, so there it just kind of tells you where everything is as far as the timeline. The last thing is, one of the last updates is the AgMech building, and so that's up and running. These are some wonderful pictures, so hopefully you have had a chance to go over and visit that facility as well. So now, I can sit down and take a breath. But, so I would definitely, I'm going to bring up the students, but I definitely want to thank our proud principal, Dr. Erica Tejeda, working with her, and it's always a pleasure to go over to Liberty and sit across from her office in the conference center. Along with Erica, we have, and I just want to point out, we have Abel Gonzalez, who is our coordinator principal for RCOE. All three of us have been working together. And thank you for being here. Really, the three of us sit down and we put our heads together constantly. It's almost become a weekly meeting just to make sure that we're getting all of our courses and all of the capstones and students where they need to be. So without further ado, I would like to bring up, well, I'm going to introduce our three pathway teachers. We have Alicia Carlin, Alex Serrato, stand up, and then Raquel Pabst. And so these are our wonderful teachers at Liberty High School. So I just want to first thank you for being here. And yes, oh, and the photographer, yes. So I'm going to bring up Alicia, and she's going to take over, and then you're going to hear from the kids and all the wonderful things that are happening with DECA and their business pathway. So I'll turn it over.
Okay, hopefully I work this. Good evening. My name is Alicia Carlin. I'm the lead pathway teacher at Liberty, and I'm honored to be here and have our students represented. And thank you to parents. I didn't know it was going to take this long, so I apologize. So I've been at Liberty since the foundation, so I was the founding business teacher. Thank you to Dr. Tejeda for taking a chance on me, because I switched. I used to teach home ec, and then so. But we switched over to business, and I haven't looked back. The support has been incredible at Liberty, and so I'm so thankful to be here, and your support as well. So speaking on, we can talk about the pathway, but I'm going to specifically focus on DECA, which is our CTSO, which stands for our Career Technical Student Organization. And so that helps us get that CTIG money, okay? So it's our second year as a chapter, and so when I first got hired at Liberty, I was tasked with not only creating the curriculum for the pathway, but also creating a CTSO. So it's our second year as a chapter, and this year, it was our second time competing at the state level competition, and one of our students competed in an event, well, multiple of our students competed in an event. We don't need pictures of me. I'm pregnant and gross. I don't want to. Yeah, no, I don't need pictures. But it was our second year competing this year, and it was our first year placing top 10 in an event, which is a huge honor. And so our student, Jolie, is here tonight. And so Her event was called Startup Business Plan, and that's actually the year 3 of our pathway course. I teach that. It's called Advanced Business Management. And at the end of end of first semester, they have a 10-page full-fledged business plan that is written and ready to compete with. And so Jolie placed top 10 out of 110 students from across California. So it was a huge honor because our first year we didn't place. And this year we got somebody on the top 10 list. So it was really exciting. So again, congratulations. Number 9, yes. Excuse me. And so our first year as a DECA chapter, we only competed in one event, which was that Startup Business Plan. But this year, with the help of Mr. Serrato and Ms. Paps, we competed in 9 additional new events. And so we were able to take freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors to experience the state competition. This year is also our 2nd annual Bison Business Battle, so hopefully you heard about that last year. I hope it created enough buzz, but we took the top 10 business plans of our pathway last year, and they competed in front of judges, one of which has been really hard to nail down because we would like to have him back. I know you haven't RSVP'd. So So that I'm taking that as his commitment. So our current judges for this year's Bison Business Battle, our 2nd annual Bison Business Battle, we would love to extend an invitation to you. It's going to be held at May 16th at 6 p.m. in our theater, and our guest judges include Joe Williams, our pathway advisor, Mick Wilson of Wilson Creek Winery. So he comes in and guest speaks to our students every year, and we have a really special relationship with him, and so we love to bring him to this event. Diane Martin will be represented. And then this year, the mayor of Menifee, Bill Zimmerman, would like to judge, so he's going to come and be a judge. So that's kind of the highlights of our pathway in DECA that we've done this year. In the future, we have really big plans. And so the first one is to compete in new events. Obviously, we want to increase. DECA has over like 100 different events, so we want to keep competing in new events, see what we're good at. And so specifically, we're going to do student-based enterprise, which is the alternative to an internship, and it gives us industry certifications. And so if students don't have transportation, if they can't get out, they can do the school-based enterprise, and that's thanks large in part to Diane and Erica for approving the custom embroidery machine that we have, $20,000, and a vinyl signage. So
You guys all approved it.
Thank you. So we're really excited to be able to sell to sports teams, to senior signs, all the things that we have planned, and the students are going to be able to sell that because obviously at our campus, ASB takes care of the student store. And we want to continue to grow as a chapter on our campus. We can only grow within the business pathway because per DECA, they have to be enrolled in a marketing, sales, and services course. So we'll continue to grow within our pathway. We've also been approached by California DECA, the organization, as well as California Department of Education to become the first super chapter in California. So, yeah. So we don't really know what that looks like, but we've been targeted. And so that means that all of the students in the business pathway would become DECA members, and we would host our own DECA conference at Liberty and then continue on to the state conference and hopefully nationals, because you can see our last goal for next year is to place top 4, because you can place top 10, which is an honor, but only the top 4 get to compete at nationals. So this year nationals are in Anaheim, and we will be attending not as competitors but as judges, and we hope that next year we will get somebody to compete, and that will be in Atlanta in 2025. So enough about what I've said. There's a quick video from students who couldn't be here. It's just a minute long. I don't know how to press. Nope.
The highlight of the business pathway is all of our advisors, because in the future, they will help me ensure that I will be a successful entrepreneur.
The highlight of DECA and the business pathway for me is making a business that comes from the heart with the help of Ms. Carlin and Mr. Serrano.
The highlight of a business pathway was understanding my core values for creating an ethical business.
The highlight of DECA and the business pathway is it preps me for future business scenarios.
The highlight of the business pathway is being able to learn different applications, such as the Adobe Illustrator.
The highlight of the business pathway in DECA is the multiple opportunities that we receive.
The highlight of the business pathway is the ability to make connections with like-minded individuals.
A highlight of the business pathway is that I could join the Bison Business Battle.
The highlight of the business pathway is learning how to be ethical inside and outside of a business environment.
The highlight of the business pathway is learning how to be an entrepreneur and owning your own business.
The highlight of being in the business pathway is learning how to be professional and learning how to do an elevator pitch.
The highlight of the business pathway is understanding the 4 P's of marketing to help me promote my business.
All right. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up the students because they're the most important piece of this aspect. So, oh no. See, now I figured it out. Okay. Jaliani, our current president.
Good evening, board. My name is Jaliani Marson, and I serve as the co-president at Liberty DECA, that is a chapter of Liberty High School. DECA stands for Distributed Education Clubs of America, and it has provided the opportunity for students across the globe to be educated on the insides of the business industry, delving into sectors like hospitality, management, career development, and finance. DECA has been one of the biggest impacts when it comes to my development through high school, providing me with the opportunity to broaden my horizons when it comes to business management, while also learning how to grow as a leader. Through DECA, I have discovered my passion for the restaurant industry, defining my career choice as being a restaurant owner, hopefully one day, here in the Inland Empire, with my own restaurant created through the startup business plan, Calypso's Diner. DECA has not only shown me what it means to be a leader, but how to get out of my comfort zone and grow into a woman dedicated to using my skills, hopes, and dreams for the future. I truly hope that Liberty DECA grows in the super chapter that we can all see it be one day, and that the students there get an experience and opportunity they can continue to share with others. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brian Woisen. I'm the Vice President of Leadership for our LHS DECA. DECA is an outstanding association that helps future leaders and entrepreneurs to get a head start of their careers. For example, I was able, with the help of Ms. Carlin, to make a 10-page business plan for an app I want to create that betters the mental health of athletes. Along with everything else that I've learned in the business pathway, I was able to get my first job, actually, at a local nursery called Tierra Blooms. I'm the manager of social media marketing there. Along with that, I love DECA because it allows me to grow and as a leader and obtain new skills that I can also apply to the sports that I play on campus. My career goal is to obtain a marketing position for a professional sport team and have a business of my own. A goal of mine this year is to become our DECA chapter's next president and score a top 10 in the next year's state conference. After high school, I hope to attend Canals Schools of Business at the University of San Diego.
Adjust this, I'm too short. Hi, I'm Jolie. I'm an 11th grader from Liberty High School DECA chapter. DECA is a wonderful association of emerging entrepreneurs preparing for the real business world. I really love DECA because of my passion for business, the friendships made within the DECA community. I made some really great friends that I wouldn't have had coming into DECA because I joined Liberty High School halfway through my sophomore year, so I didn't know very many people, so DECA really helped me get out there. And also I love DECA because of the creativity you can implement within yourself. This past DECA trip, I participated in the competitive ESB event, and I worked really hard and placed in the top 10 or 9th place. It was an honor just to walk on stage. I was the first Bison to ever be on the DECA stage, and that was a really, really cool opportunity. I sprinted out of the room and called my parents crying because I was so excited. And overall, the entire DECA experience has been life-changing for me. I now know that I want to get my MBA at USC, and that's my goal, which I didn't really have a plan before, but DECA opened so many doors for me and really helped better my future as an entrepreneur. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Grace Jackson. I'm a member of DECA at Liberty High School. DECA is an amazing way to let students expand their business knowledge in areas of marketing, finance, hospitality, and management while in high school or college. DECA helps students become academically prepared, community-oriented, professionally responsible, and become experienced leaders. DECA helped me develop business skills in the classroom and out in the world. I got to experience all the fun of learning at the competition while also being in a business professional setting. My career objective is to someday own my own business or head up a marketing department for a well-known business. My goal in DECA for this year was to attend and complete this year's DECA State Conference to represent Liberty DECA's organization. It was a huge accomplishment and a very special honor. Moving into the future, my goal is to strengthen my entrepreneurial skills with a focus specifically on marketing and to hold an officer position for our chapter next year. I look forward to all the opportunities DECA will provide for me as I emerge further into the business world.
Hello everyone, my name is Amanda Hernandez and I'm currently a 9th grade student at the Liberty High School DECA chapter. Like my fellow members have previously said, DECA is an amazing program where emerging leaders take on challenges in marketing, finance, management, and hospitality. I personally do marketing and management, and at our last competition, I competed in the sports and entertainment marketing role play event. Unfortunately, at this event, I did not place, but I'm confident with the help of my amazing advisors that I will do it within the next 3 years. I truly love DECA. It has definitely changed the trajectory of my life in a positive way. Since joining DECA, I feel like I've emerged as a leader and have become more confident in myself. And I have also met so many amazing people who share the same passion for business as me. Especially looking up, as a freshman, looking up to seniors, it's really encouraging to see that one day I could hopefully be like them, and for that, I'm truly grateful for it. I can't wait to see what my future in DECA holds for me, whether that be continue to be a chapter member or continuing my DECA journey as a VP. Thank you.
Okay, my hormones are getting me. Just to wrap up the importance of our pathway, like Diane stated earlier, the Moreno Valley College articulations weren't on the included, but last year as an entire pathway, we earned 271 students earned 3 units of college credit from the following courses: Intro to Business, Business Ethics, and Advanced Business Management. And so this is the first year we're actually teaching e-commerce. So that number will probably double because of how many incoming freshmen we've had. So we look forward to continuing to provide opportunities in DECA, Bison Business Battle, and of course the articulation. So thank you. And we're gonna wrap it up. Oh wait, we have pictures. And this is not a gang sign, by the way. This is the DECA Diamond. So just to clear that up, that's what that means.
Thank you, Alicia. Yes. I think the students have something that they would like to give you, and then if we can just take a group shot with the students in front and you guys in the back, please. Okay. Oh, yeah. Picture, oh, yes. Okay, parents can come up. Yeah, parents that are here, yes. Principal here. Come on up. Yep.
Here, go this one, right?
I know it went way over.
I did have a
Yes.
question for Jolie, though. She got 9th place for her business plan, but what business was the business plan for? By all means, please. I would love to.
My my business plan, it was called Vrago Cleats. It was a cleat brand made for women to help injury prevention, because within the women's soccer industry, ACL tears and meniscus tears and just other injuries that have really extreme setbacks to the players and their future are caused by their cleats, which is a really big issue within our industry. So that's what I focused on.
Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
You know, just to touch on that, I have a buddy who's a college soccer coach, and you're exactly right. The injuries. You guys are outside the box thinkers. I am not like that. So to see you guys.
Thank you.
You guys are dismissed. All right, moving along. Item 13.1, Williams Settlement, Quarterly Uniform Complaint Report Summary for January 2024 through March 2024. Item 13.2, Discipline, March 2024 Monthly Suspension Report. And moving along to action items. Item 14.1, General Functions, Proposal for K-12 Public School District Fiscal Health Analysis with Hazard, Young, Atea, and Associates. Do I have a motion? Is there a second? Was that you, Tony?
Second, yeah.
Any discussion?
I have a question with this one. I want, didn't we just do a audit with another company, like a year audit contract with them? So is this the same thing or is this something different?
No, this was advised by our consultant, where every time we have a new hire superintendent, we want to present them with a fresh audit so that they could hit the ground running. And that was recommended by the consultant.
A fresh audit, but it's still like a general audit too. What's
No.
wrong with the other company that we have?
I don't know what's wrong with the other company, but I'm going based on the recommendations. So that's why I presented it.
I just think that since we already paid for an audit, I don't see the point of wasting another $50,000 if we're trying to be fiscally solvent here.
So, and I know we've had this conversation before. A couple different things. The recent audit was the audit that we have with Eide Bailly, which is our standard particular audit. Now that we're going to be bringing in a new superintendent, this is basically a forensic audit of what's going on with the district's financial situation. So obviously, we want the next superintendent to understand what they're walking into. We want to be able to give them the information that they need, because they're going to want to figure out what is going on with all the different planning. Obviously, it is a $50,000 cost. But at the same time, I think to be fully transparent to the community and anybody else, I think it's necessary that we do it. We're going to obviously have the ongoing audits with Eide Bailly. At least it was one contract for the year, and then we'll look at the other ones down the road. But this one is going to be a little bit more specific, just to make sure that everything that's being done is being done properly. They're going to look at different aspects of what the district's financial situation is, and to make sure that it is what we say it is.
Do you think that our superintendent firm search is willing to tell us that there's something fishy? Not that I think there's something fishy going on here, but I'm saying, do you think that they would be willing to do that at the expense of their own their own image of the firm search?
Well, absolutely. That's why they recommended it. But also, when I got that information, I asked, is this a common practice? I went to my district and I asked, and they said this is a very common practice. And then when I had the conversation with Mr. Bennett, he was well aware. There's nothing politically, nothing alternative. This is just a common practice that holds us accountable and holds the district accountable.
And in a way, it also holds the new superintendent accountable, because he can't give us the excuse that, or she, I'm sorry, you're right. He, she, they, whatever. They cannot come back and say, I didn't know about this, because this will lay everything out. Yes. Not just the numbers, but contract management, public bids, internal systems controls. Just looking through this list right here, and so they will not have that as an excuse at all. Because they'll be completely apprised of everything that's going on in the district.
So our other audit, they can't do this? Or is that not included in the contract?
That audit's mainly just numbers and the budgetary. Enrollment trends, testing systems and review. There's a lot more in here than there is in budget audit.
And I know we've had the conversation in the past. You know, when we wanted to know, if you want full transparency, then we need to make sure that everything is being done properly. And so I think having, and we had discussed this before, we want to have a different set of eyes looking at it. You know, I would say Ide Bailey's kind of big picture macro, and this is going to be a little bit more micro, digging into the different things that are going on. And I think it's no offense to anybody, or it's just, we're responsible fiscally for the district and its operation. And so I think having this audit is going to, I think, give everybody a sigh of relief to know what and where we're at. Hopefully, you know, we don't find anything, you know, that's, you know, illegitimate or whatever, but at the same time, you know, who knows, maybe we find something and I know for me initially, it was, hey, let's make sure that we're trying to find whatever monies, if there's monies there, to make sure that we can support the jobs that I know you're so concerned with. And so obviously this is going to give us a clean slate. I know for me, I'll know once it's done, we tried. We did the best that we could. And we've done everything we could. And not only that, but I think we're going to put the next superintendent in a position where we've done whatever we needed to do to make sure that they're not coming in and inheriting a mess. I don't know if you're well aware of kind of what goes on in some of the superintendents in the area, but some of them, they walk into a mess. And, you know, locally there was a mess and they had to let go of that superintendent. And so there's a lot of different things going on. And I just think for transparency, for the community, for the staff, this is, and it was recommended, it's just something that we're moving in the right direction, in my opinion.
I still don't understand. I mean, I think even if the new superintendent comes, I mean, they know how to read numbers, they know how to read audits, because I assume they are already superintendents. So to me, I think this makes sense if we had more money, but if we're trying to be fiscally solvent and like we're trying to constrain our budget, I don't believe it's that necessary if we already have a great business service team. And I think that, you know, we can help the next superintendent kind of weave their way in. I just don't feel like this is kind of worth it.
Understood. You know, the one thing I would say is most superintendents aren't CPAs, and you know they might be able to read a spreadsheet, but there's a lot more complexities to the audit. You know, I mean, I don't know if that was the case. We could just say, hey, Grant, can you give us a forensic audit and on your way out, you know, the last month and have fun with it. So, but you know, I do think that we need to understand we're bringing in professionals to do a professional job. We're obviously hiring a professional within, as a superintendent, within that realm of their professional field. And so this is just bringing in someone outside. I mean, obviously, you know, if you're not comfortable with it, then, you know, the vote will reflect that. But I know for me, I think we're moving in the right direction, and hopefully the cost is worth it. There's always a cost of business. And I think that the decisions that we're making are the right decisions to make sure that our house is clean, you know what I mean, and that we're good, and there's only one way to find out. And in this particular situation is to move forward with an audit and go from there.
All right, any more discussion? All right, seeing none, please vote. Item 14.1 is a 4-1 vote. Item 14.2, certificated personnel action items. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Item 14.2 is a 5-0 vote. Item 14.3, personnel, classified personnel action items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? See none, please vote. Item 14.3 is a 5-0 vote. Item 14.4, memorandum of understanding between the Paris Union High School District and the California School Employees Association and its chapter, Paris Valley number 469, regarding substitute coverage for classified employees. Is there a motion? I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
A quick concern, or if someone can help me understand. I was reading the MOU on here, and it says for category 3, it's for senior clerics, guidance, receptionist. And I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes I think like receptionists should always, be there, or there should always be someone there, because there's a lot of parents that come into schools. And I feel like if they don't have a sub until like after 3 days, then I feel like we're not gonna be as efficient.
You're absolutely correct. And that was a discussion that we had with our labor partners with CSEA. And so usually, and I'll give Human Resources an example, because Human Resources handles the reception for the DAC here. So usually what happens is if the receptionist is out, then one of the other clerical staff members backfills for the reception. So there's always someone at reception. But that's why we put it at that category 3. That was part of the discussion. That way, if it's, you can do it for a day, you can do it for 2 days, but by day 3, it's time to get someone in there to cover for them. So that was exactly the discussion. Yeah.
They just won't call for a sub until day 3.
That's exactly right. You got it.
Kirk, I got a couple of concerns. One is people being able to cross-train, particularly some departments take no cuts while others get cut. So let's take your custodians, for example. Not looking to give them anything more than anyone else gets, but why is it that they are not able to sub in other positions when people can sub in their positions? So let's say somebody wanted to go train to become a campus supervisor, but they're a custodian. Now they could come in on the day shift and work a sports event at night with proper training and proper everything that had to be adhered to. But I understand we did open up some coaching after many years that they were shut out of that. So they're not being given the same opportunity to make money. And I know this is it's kind of an off track here, what I'm saying. But I mean, what other cross-training could other people do that may be able to help them make more money?
Yeah, and cross-training was a conversation we had, particularly because of working out a class and covering someone that's in a higher classification if they're out for an extended period of time. It's something that we'd like to see. We'd like to take advantage of that as much as we can. The scenario you're talking about is a little bit different, and I think it warrants a deeper discussion, because I think it's a great idea, but we've just never broached it. And that's the idea of having like a nighttime custodian come in during the day to cover for campus supervisors, and then backfilling the custodian with a substitute instead of subbing here. I think that's a great idea to talk about. I'm sure that there's logistical problems with that and stuff. And
I'm sure there are some issues with it,
yeah.
But it seems like one group always benefits when others don't. And this is many, many, many years I've seen this, and it just seems odd that they are not allowed the opportunities to make additional income. It might be a legal issue. I mean, when you really think about it, why is it that they are not able to the opportunities? Because even what I found is a lot of custodians don't want to be campus supervisors.
Right.
I know that.
Yeah.
They prefer to be on their own and be out there. But there's some that don't want to be custodians and want to train to be a campus supervisor. So just to have the avenues open and keep everything fair, it would seem okay that they're not even given the opportunity. And this is dollars in these times. I don't know cost-wise. I don't think I did worry about, okay, this might be seen as overtime or something in certain scenarios.
Well, it would be seen as overtime if we did something like I thought you were originally going down, and that is where you say, okay, you can come in and work campus supervisor and then do your custodial after that, because that would be a huge workday, right?
Yeah.
But what you're talking about is a little bit different. I think it's innovative. I think it's worth exploring.
Yeah,
And maybe doing a cost analysis on that. I think that's fair.
Well, to me, I mean, my point is, there's nothing I can do about it or yourself.
Well, no, but you did.
Well, the union doesn't seem to work in its own best interest. And it's frustrating for me to watch them do this. They're so willing to give away. Well, if you're giving something away, you need to be getting something or some training. It's not always money, you know. There's other ways, benefits or some sort of something to equal the playing field. But they walk away with nothing, and in certain groups, whoever, depending who's controlling the union at the time or whatever, and it just sits wrong with me. So I just wanted to make this.
Well, and I will tell you this, Mr. Stafford, that, you know, President Steinmack, when she spoke earlier, when she gave her president's address, talked about the fact that next month they'll be bringing forward their initial proposal for negotiations. Well, the district will also bring forward its initial proposal for negotiations as well. We can absolutely explore that at that time.
Yeah, okay. Just an idea. It's not anything set in stone or.
Fantastic.
Just, okay, thank you.
All right, any more discussion? Please vote. Item 14.4 is a 5-0 vote. Item 14.5, Personnel Resolution Number 2623-24, Proclamation Week of the Teacher and Day of the Teacher. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? See none, please vote. Item 14.5 is a 5-0 vote. Item 14.6, Resolution Number 2823-24, Proclamation of May 8th, 2024 as a National School Nurse Day. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please vote. Item 14.6 is a 5-0 vote. 14.7, Resolution Number 2723-24, Proclamation of May 19th through 25th, 2024 as Classified School Employee Week. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? See none, please vote. Item 14.7 is a 5-0 vote. Item 14.8, approval of salary increase for management, confidential, and unrepresented employees. Is there a motion? I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to echo what I said at the CMI board meeting. I do not believe this is the right time. I feel like we should be focusing on the students and the services that we lost. But I just hope everyone just kind of think about that. Thank you.
I would like to make a comment in response to your comment. It would be absolutely ignorant of us to not give an increase to management, confidential, and underrepresented employees, including classified, and only give it to the teachers. That would be irresponsible of us. We have to be consistent. And I understand what you're saying. It's a solid argument about being physically solvent, but why give to one group and not to another? So if we're going to give money, we need to give it to everybody as equally as possible. So I understand what you're saying, but we're in a bind because why give it to the teachers? And it did create this, right? And now we have to, I guess it's like, what do you call it? A repercussion per se. All right, any more discussion?
I just have to agree with what you're saying. I've been down this road before. There were opportunities for people to use other means in order to save money. such as furlough days, which, well, I've explained that it had to be approved by the state and things like that. But there were opportunities, but as soon as they got what they wanted, then they were happy. So it's important that we give all of the staff the same amount.
You know, the only thing I'll add is, I think last year, you know, when we came across this, I was in a different position in the sense that I didn't know who I was working with, you know what I mean? And so I think this year we've gone through a lot of things, and obviously, you know, we rewarded our bargaining units, and so you know, taking a look at the whole, I think as a group, you know, for me at least, it's given us a year to get to know each other, to make sure that we're kind of all in sync. And so I know I feel a lot more comfortable this year doing it, knowing who I've worked with, seeing their efforts. And so for me, you know, I would agree with Tony and Edward in the sense that, hey, you know what, let's kind of reward each other together, and then kind of, you know, in tougher times, obviously, we have to take a look at in the future, you know, when these things are negotiated, that the bargaining, just take a look at the big picture, because their bargaining, it pretty much affects everybody. And so, yeah, so for me, I think it's, you know.
And when we were given the numbers, we were always presented with the numbers for this raise for everybody across the board. I know this doesn't affect the superintendent and his cabinet, but whenever they give us a raise of 1%, they always show us what it costs for the district for everybody to get the 1%. And those are the numbers we normally focus on, because we know if one group gets it, it's only equitable for all the groups to get it. So
I think you captured a good point, that we're already aware of what it's going to cost us and what we've had to sacrifice, you know. And I think we're all on the same page, Ms. Vallejo, about the sacrifices we've given up, you know. But obviously the districts, as you know, like in closed session, they're devised a plan where we're addressing those needs, you know, wellness rooms and positions, whatnot. So I hope you're comfortable with what we have to do here.
Oh, no, of course. I mean, I do understand the other perspective. Like, it's true. Like, we do have to be equitable. I'm just more on the, like, my argument is more on, like, we gave teachers and classified a raise. I know because, you know, they make less to what management makes. And I was more thinking, like, well, management makes a pretty decent amount of money. They make, you know, pretty well. And I'm just saying, like, when we're, like, I mean, I always want you guys to have a raise, but I'm saying, like, when we're, like, fiscally on the rocks here, that's where I'm like, oh, you know, maybe we can save some money and put it for the student services, but that's just my opinion. That's just my philosophy.
but I mean, one more thing. It's not just for management. Yes, management is in this, but we're talking about unrepresented employees as well. And so how are they ever going to get a pay raise if not included with one group or another? Because they're unrepresented. That's exactly, they're unrepresented. They're not going to come in front to us and beg for money, because they have no avenue to do that. This is our opportunity to show them that they're with everybody else in this regards as well. So I'm sorry, you were going to say something as well.
No, all I was going to say was, you know, eventually we have to, as people like to say, trim the fat when there's excess fat, right? You know, because we just have to deal with it. And it sounds like we're all on the same page. We understand cause and effect, right? So I guess I don't need to add anything, unless anybody wants to add anything.
You know what, the one thing I'll add, I guess, for me, I guess the last note, I think tonight was a good meeting in the sense that, you know, we pretty much saw every high school represented, with things that are going on that are positive. You know, a lot of it, you know, are decisions that we've made, you know, with camp security and what they're doing out at Heritage. You know, we've seen, obviously, the leaders of these high schools. You know, we've had Paris students come up here. We've had, you know, Liberty represented. We saw the video of Paris Lake. And so I know for me, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking the environment and the culture that we're building. And so I think we're building future leaders. I think these leaders are gonna benefit the city of Paris and the city of Menifee. And, for me, it's thank you. Thank you guys for what you do. You guys run little cities. It's not easy. You know what I mean? We know that. I was a high school kid, and I probably caused, I could have probably used that CARES team, and I caused a lot of, I could have used some counseling. But at the same time, we understand that, and we feel, I appreciate the work that you guys have done, and obviously the products that we're producing, which is, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So thank you, and that's pretty much my final.
Please vote. Item 14.8 is a 4-1 vote. Item 14.9, resolution number 2423-24, resolution authorizing piggybacking for purchase of the Edmentum software. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? See none, please vote. Item 14.9 is a 5-0 vote. Item 14.10, amendment number 2 to the amendment with Clover Enterprises Incorporated for athletic trainer first aid responder services at Paris High School, Paloma Valley High School, Heritage High School, Liberty High School, and Pinacati Middle School. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? I have a quick question. Is this, Miss Diane, I believe you made a comment. You don't have to get up and speak. I just want to make sure this is removing, is this removing the EMT program that you were talking about? This language?
No.
It's completely separate, right? Just trainer. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bennett. No, I just wanted to make sure I didn't get confused.
Courses that the kids can take EMT.
It's just,
So I read this earlier and I was like, oh, okay. And then she said that and I got confused. Yeah. Okay, so any more discussion? Please vote. Item 14.10 is a 5-0 vote. 14.11, authorization for the purchase of capital equipment above $10,000, April 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Sorry. Any discussion?
Yeah, it was two people at one time. Who was the second?
All right. Please vote.
I was about to.
Item 14.11 is a 5-0 vote. Item 14.12, authorization for purchase orders above $50,000, April 2024. Is there a motion? You?
Second.
Sorry, I'm not used to you with the deep voice.
Oh, sorry.
Any discussion? See none, please vote. I'm sorry, item 14.12. 14.12 is a 5-0 vote. I got it. Item 15.1 is information items. Revised biomedical courses, principles of biomedical science, intro to human anatomy, honors human body systems, honors medical interventions, and honors biomedical innovations. 15.2, revised advanced placement English courses, AP English language and composition, and AP English literature and composition. 15.3, revised English language development courses, English intensive, MS English intensive, and academic language development. 15.4, revised high school science courses, Science 9, biology, chemistry, physics, and advanced placement AP biology. Item 15.5, revised special education course study skills. 15.6, revised visual and performing arts course, general music. 15.7, revised world language courses, Spanish for Spanish speakers 1 and Spanish for Spanish speakers 2. 15.8, new math course, algebra 2. 15.9, science textbook adoption. 15.10, revolving cash report, March 2024. Closed session if necessary, 16.1? No, it is. Item 17.1, let's move on. Item 18.1, discipline, board review of discipline matters. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? I knew everybody's gonna. Okay, Barry. Is there a second? I'll get a second. You weren't even on. Turn your mic on. It's okay. You're on the spot. Any discussion? Please vote. Uh-oh. Oh, what just happened? Yours is up. Trying to blank. I'm having technical difficulties here. Yeah, well, he's gonna fix it. James is awesome. Did I touch something?
No, I don't think so. Go ahead and drag it.
Oh, you're awesome. I was like, what? Item 18.1 is a 5-0 vote. Item 18.2, reinstatement of student discipline matters. Is there a motion? Was that you, Tony?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a sec- Any discussion? See none, please vote. Eighteen point two is a 5-0 vote. 19.1, other items by the superintendent.
Nothing more this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Item 20.1, other items by the Board of Trustees. Mr. Nelson.
Thank you. I would just like to say thank you to everybody who came up and presented. Mr. Mill, your team, and Diane, your team, I appreciate it. Having the kids come up here and give testimony is really, really cool to see them, how excited they are about the programs and everything too. It's really cool to see. So thank you very much.
Trustee Vallejo.
Yeah, I kind of want to echo what David Rabb said is, can we look into having a video when we do these board meetings? Because I know we only have audio, but can we do video? Because I think it'll be great for transparency. Do we do the motion now? No. Oh.
Okay. Oh, you're done? Okay. Trustee Stafford?
I have one thing. When you, Diane, I'm nothing against what you said, but when you talked about dropping the EMT program, and my heart just kind of dropped through my, you know. It's, you can't become a fireman or anything without being an EMT. And myself, 20 years on the job and knowing pathways, there aren't many. A lot of people don't know how to get those type of jobs. Is there any chance that you could go to a different site maybe, or is it at the wrong site, or that we drop it? Oh, they're not. Okay. It's not that I would recommend the job to anybody if you felt like I feel my back. But sports medicine versus EMT just doesn't kind of weigh. It makes my heart. Go ahead, Erica.
I can share. There's more opportunities there's more internship opportunities for sports medicine as the kids can be football team, the basketball team, volleyball. They can travel with them with sports medicine, and so they're easier for our students to obtain internships. Trying to find a department where our kids qualify. There's age requirements. We have a lot of young seniors at 17 who don't qualify for EMT internships. With
Right.
sports medicine, they can go to the football team, they can go to basketball, and they can
okay, I think differently in terms of pensions and long-term. I don't know what the graduating steps from sports medicine, where do you go after, I'm sure there's, you go to the pros or something, yeah. I mean, it's a worthy thing also, I'm sure. It's just, you depend, our lives depend on, you guys are all well-traveled, I know, and you see the differences between the East and the West, and especially California here, that pretty soon you won't even be able to get home insurance because of fires and things like that, and the response times that, luckily, we've been lucky. We do pretty well as far as getting responses to the schools, and I think Kirk helped me out with that when I first, when I needed information on that. Was it you, Kirk? It's been a while, yeah, because I wanted to know how long it took to get to your school, and what if the engine company closest to you, Eric, I was thinking of Liberty when it was, and if the engine company closest to Liberty was out of service on another call, then you were looking up to 24 minutes to half an hour before you got somebody there. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I just have a passion for it, so it's I understand your thinking. I do understand. Okay, well, thank you. Okay.
All right, Trustee Campos.
You know what? First of all, thank you. A lot happened, I think, here tonight. A lot was said. But I would like to kind of touch on what Tony's mentioning, and I don't know how it can be accomplished, but obviously if there's an opportunity for a pathway for fire science, one of the things that everybody loves is a fireman. And so those are some of the best jobs, I think, on the planet. I know a lot of firemen, their families, I mean, it's just a great field. On the other note, first responders, one of the sad things that I read recently, there are 3 professions that those who are in the profession don't want their kids to go into. One of them is law enforcement, one of them is military, and education. And to me, that's a concern. Obviously, education requires a college degree, but the other 2 don't. And so I really think that when we're doing all this stuff, and don't get me wrong, the entrepreneurial, that's a whole, our country is like founded on the entrepreneurial, the business. I mean, that's phenomenal. But at the same time, I think, echoing what Tony said, is that we depend on those services. Those services are extremely important. They're career paths that are very good. I've listened to Sheriff Bianco. We have a shortage. We can't replace law enforcement faster than they're retiring. That's a concern. You know what I mean? And so obviously, hopefully, as we're moving forward in new directions in CTE, that there are some of those opportunities. But I mean, that's my 2 cents on that. And so, I hope that it's just something, because those are very good jobs, very good professions. They might all bankrupt the state of California at the end of the day, but that's a whole other story. And one of the things I did want to mention, so Tony, thank you for that and for advocating for that. I'm looking forward to figuring out what the 4 Ps of marketing are. Because when they said, I was like, okay, give me a nugget, you know what I mean? And so, but I'm sure I'll have that opportunity. But one of the things that I do want to share on a personal note, and I apologize for it. I know some of these comments are directed at me. I have one social media account. It's my Facebook account. I don't post a lot of stuff. It's personal stuff, family stuff. But I do want you to know that there's a lot of misinformation about who I am. And it's one of those things that you don't know if you don't know me. I've been advocating for public education for a while. I know Juan and I had worked together in Temecula. I was advocating for EL students, and I've always tried to do the right thing. I understand the position that I'm in, and I apologize for some of the negativity, the stigmatism that it brings, that maybe my reputation brings. I don't think it's warranted. You're going to hear things that I have complaints filed, all this other stuff, and I don't. I've been doing my job for 27 years, in public education. I've advocated for students on several levels. And one of the reasons why I decided to go into this was because I felt that I have a knowledge and an experience and a heart to do what's right for public education. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I don't think most of us are. But I think those people, if you truly want to know me, you can ask people who know me or get to know me. But I do know that, some of the things, that were mentioned, me saying fascist, it's not me. I rarely use those words, and I can tell that wherever they're pulling this information from, it's not factual. And I just wish people were honest about what they say, because those aren't my words. And I would love to see the quote where I said that. People think I'm behind some, Instagram group. I'm one of the most least techie people on the planet. And so, again, I apologize for what you guys may hear and what comes out publicly, because obviously, then we have cameras, and I'm okay with that, because I understand the situation, and I'm comfortable with who I am, the decisions I make, and the things that I say. I know that when I go to a public, if I go to a school board meeting, what I say, I know it's being recorded. I know what's going on. I'm not a fool. I do it, and I never do it as a representative of this district. I do it, in my community where I am an employee, and I do it where I'm a city, a member. And so I just want you to know that, I do apologize for some of that comes up, because, for me, I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like people are going to think whatever they want of me. But I think at the end of the day, I know for me, I say what I have to say from behind here, from behind that mic, and I'm okay with it. And so, I hope that, in the future, if you guys ever have any questions, there's information out there about me, ask me. I can explain kind of what I say, what I do, and I'm not ashamed of it. And if I make a mistake, then I'll apologize. That's just the right thing to do, in my opinion. So, anyways, that's that. But thank you guys for what you do. I think I'm excited because we're moving in the right direction, I believe. I think things are going to start to really look good. And, hey, end of the year is almost coming, so, we can all rejoice when that's over. And then the new starts again. It's kind of like, it's always, it's revolving. So anyways, thanks again for all that.
I guess it's my turn. Mr. Campos, I appreciate what you just said right now. I didn't really know you, and I still don't think I fully know you, but I appreciate what you stand up for, because talking to you, I understand your perspective. I understand what we're dealing with, and this is supposed to be a non-bipartisan position, and I think you've done a great job here. I think everyone here has done a great job. Like I said earlier, we all have hard discussions back there, and everybody's opinion matters, and as long as we're willing to listen to each other, I think we're good to go. And I think that message should be shared to everyone who is saying whatever they're saying about you. And I agree, everybody should have the opportunity to say the truth. And, I've heard quite a few of the hate speeches towards you, and we've had discussion about this, but if they're going to quote you, quote the whole sentence at least, right? Or the topic, whatnot. Moving on, I want to thank you all again, and I think it's important you're all thanked for all the hard work you guys do. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm sure some of you might not agree with our decisions, what we have to do. We might not want to have to make those decisions, but we do. And I really, really value each and every one of you. And shout outs to the Sheriff's Department again, coming out. I know it's a thankless job, but we thank you for taking care of us. And we really appreciate you too. And on that note, I think we want to move on to 21.1. What do you guys think?
So moved.
All right, is there a second? Second. All right. Any discussion? Any discussion? No? Please vote. I'm just going to make the assumption it's a 5-0 vote.
And you are correct.
5-0 vote. This meeting is, thank you for the chocolates. This meeting is adjourned at 9:10.